it's a virus. Yeah, viruses have been a real challenge in the world. The entire world, by the way, not being able to find a cure for viruses. Na tukisoma, I know you've done something to do with biology.
Yes, I did.
Biology. Tukisoma, we were told that viruses do not have a cure. Yeah, most of the time you just manage them.
So according to internet, a simple Google search says that hepatitis B is an infection of the liver caused by hepatitis B virus. The infection can be acute, which means short and severe, or chronic, which means long term. It can spread through contact with infected body fluids like blood, saliva, vaginal fluids, and semen. It can also be passed from a mother to her baby. Hepatitis B can be prevented with a safe and effective vaccine. The vaccine is usually given soon after birth, with boosters a few weeks later, and it offers nearly 100% protection against the virus. So guys, folks, be very, very careful out there. Especially if you have not been vaccinated against these things. You can actually go back and confirm if you ever got the vaccine. Sababu there's some countries that and the vaccine was developed a bit later, so kuna watu pia hawakuweza kupata,
especially our generation, right?
So ni vizuri uende tu confirm,
angalia kama ushawahi kupata hiyo vaccine,
na kama hujapata ni vizuri uipate.
And again, unajua Kenyans sometimes, I don't know, we are so negative about vaccines. Sijui huwa tunaona ni kama tunasema tunamalizwa.
Kweli.
Kenyans wako na that narrative which sometimes is not good. So if ungependa kupata hiyo vaccine, quite important, you can just go check with your doctor. Well, today is also another day. Kuna siku fulani ilikuwa inaitwa Buffalo Soldiers Day. In the US, and of course it's observed to commemorate the contributions of the African American soldiers of the US Army, particularly their service in the American West. That is why I said we need to check on these two specific national days. They are not for the whole world. They are specifically for the US, but they are quite important, as like the national soccer and even the Buffalo Soldiers Day. By the way, we have so many Kenyans who are in the American Army, the US Army. I know of a friend of mine who is in that army.
Me too. I know a couple of Kenyans.
Yes, so we have a lot of Kenyans, and that's why it's quite important also. We appreciate the efforts they do. The contributions they make in that US Army.
Good stuff. There's also a song, Buffalo Soldier.
I knew you will sing that song.
All right, so what train are we boarding today, and where is it taking us? Tumemaliza siku za kucelebrate.
We are done. Today we are heading to Germany. Come USA again. Because this is a quote by Albert Einstein. You know him?
Albert Einstein. He's a physicist. And he's a Nobel
Prize winner.
And he was very instrumental in the Second World War, by the way, developing the atomic bomb. He was one of the big brains behind nuclear physics. Actually,
in the rising of the Nazi regime in the Germany, that is when he fled and went to the US and became a US citizen. From then, and of course, me, I like him because of the revolution that he did on the force of gravity. You remember Isaac's force of gravity? You remember that force of gravity by Isaac Newton. So he was able to revolutionize or make it people to understand the force of gravity.
He actually came up with a theory called the theory of relativity.
That is
theory of relativity, which explains the relationship between gravity and time.
So we were able to understand, initially with the Isaac's force of gravity, whenever we were asking ourselves a lot of questions. How? For him, what he did, what Isaac Newton said, he just described what gravity is, because he saw an apple fall down. And he understood that the apple is being attracted to the center of the earth, and that is the whole concept of gravity. But now with Albert Einstein, what he did, he actually now defined further and that's why it's called relativity, because it's the relationship between gravity and time. Now, before we get into physics, that one you can go check it out, guys, because it's a whole other subject of quantum physics. And basically, in a very short, in layman's language,
the more gravity there is, the time is affected differently in different places where there's gravity.
Sure.
For example, when you go to a place where the gravity is intense or is immense because the body mass of that particular mass is huge, time for you goes much slower, as opposed to someone who is in a place that has got less gravity. Yes. Okay. So he actually explained what black holes are through that theory of relativity.
Yeah. So he's quite he was quite an instrumental person in the physics world.
Yes, indeed.
And this is what he said, that in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Albert said, in the middle of difficult lies opportunity.
Good. You should always look for an opportunity even when you're in a difficult situation, and that is the truth.
Yeah, you just need to understand that anytime you're in a difficult situation, that is when most of the time your eyes will open.
Yep.
That is the time you'll think you will become more creative. That is the time you'll think of opportunities. Yeah, so quite important. Appreciate any time you are going through a difficult time.
Yes.
Do not just pass through that difficult time.
All right.
Yes.
Are we done with the train?
Sure.
Good stuff. Now there you have it. At least mmejua hapa tunajua pia mambo ya physics na mambo ya biology. Let's get on to rgk.co.ke. Have you logged on? If you haven't, well, this is the time. Log on to your browser, then check out rgk.co.ke. You can listen to us live. You can also, by the way, watch us live on our YouTube channel, that is Radio Generation Kenya. Ingia tu pale YouTube to search, utatuona. Meanwhile, these are the stories that are making headlines. Ruto in Addis for UN Food Summit to champion Kenya's role in global food security. Yeah, so we can see President Ruto there seated with Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Addis Ababa, and this is what the story is all about. So President William Ruto arrived in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, ahead of the second United Nations Food Systems Summit stocktake, where he is expected to advocate for Kenya's priorities in the ongoing global dialogue on food systems transformation. On arrival in the Ethiopian capital, the president was received by Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Tirune. Ruto also held talks with Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, where discussions focused on bilateral relations as well as regional issues of mutual interest. Yeah. So, tuongee juu ya chakula for a few seconds. We sat here with an aspirant. You remember?
Yeah.
Alas.
Yeah.
I think it was Abdullahi Alas. And Abdullahi alituambia kwamba in the northern region, and I always remember this because for me it was mind-boggling, and I was like, why haven't we taken advantage of this? He was talking about in the northern region, there's so much land that we can use for agriculture, whether it's livestock or crop farming. And as we talk about food security in Africa, in Kenya specifically, all these places that have got arable land and we do not use them, I wonder why. We have an entire Ministry of Agriculture, livestock and all those things that come with those particular names, fisheries as well. We have all this land that we're not using. It is a desert. Watu hawaitumii. Hiyo place haina barabara, hakuna watu wanaishi hapo. And we have places like Saudi Arabia that have converted their deserts into food production lands. Israel converted huge tracts of desert land into arable land, and they've actually planted and kept livestock there to a point whereby they are actually exporting. Egypt is another country that has got part of the Sahara Desert actually is in Egypt, and these guys are growing cash crops and exporting. I think we get apples from Egypt. And for me, I'm wondering why. We have similar situations here in Kenya, that is the arid and semi-arid lands, yes, stretching all the way from Kitui, zikipanda juu Garissa, zikienda all the way mpaka northeastern Mandera na huko zina cross into Ethiopia. Why aren't we using these particular situations?
Well, one thing that I will say, when we talked of devolution, we were looking towards addressing some of the questions that you're saying, and especially tukisema kwamba tuko na a lot of virgin land, and especially in the northern part of Kenya. We also have, even in Ukambani, talk of Kitui, there's a very big mass of land.
Yes.
But you realize that now we've not been dedicating resources to ensure that we can harness or we can take advantage of the opportunities in those lands. So I think it is high time people just went back and started rethinking Yeah, we need to re-strategize because if a country in the Saudi Arabia, if a country like Israel, for example, because I've seen so many times our leaders going to Israel to benchmark issues to do with agriculture. So you wonder when they go and benchmark, what do they come back to do in our country? There's nothing. There's basically nothing they come and do. And a country that cannot produce in terms of agriculture, in terms of food, yeah, if your stomach is empty, there's nothing much that you can do in other areas. Yeah, you will keep on developing other areas, but still you come back, you realize that your stomach is empty. Because I feel like we have, like you're saying, we have a lot of we have big masses of land which, if they can be used well, I think as a country tungekuwa tuna export a lot, and when we export, of course, we balance our economy.
Wakati tulikuwa tunatafuta maji kule, si maji but oil in Turkana, I think we struck a water body, a water pocket, let me call it that, and ikatoa maji mengi sana, and experts were saying that water, if I remember well, could be getting my facts wrong here, but someone said that water will be available for 70 years at the very least. And I'm thinking,
so where is it now?
I think it's still there, but the question here is, are we making use of that water to make agriculture, irrigation rather, in that particular area? I hope we are. The next question is, why are we not digging more wells or more boreholes in places like Wajir, Isiolo, Garissa, those places we consider arid, Marsabit,
and the construction
Mandera
of dams, see, to collect to harness the maji ambao mvua ikinyesha. Yes,
and also actually even harvesting that rainwater. When it rains, are we harvesting? So when maybe I'm the one who doesn't understand how government works.
Actually, as you were talking, that is what I was imagining, like ama ni sisi atuelewi how things work.
Labda sielewi vile serikali ama vile development of these water systems work, because it's been 62 years, we keep on saying this, since independence, but we are still going through the same issues. And the question I would ask is why? Why? With every successful government from wakati wa Moi, actually wakati wa Jomo Kenyatta, tukiingia wakati wa Moi, Kibaki, Uhuru, na sasa tuko naye Ruto. Watu wa Northeastern bado tunaongelelea juu ya food security. Yes, bread basket yetu inakuanga central pekee, and I think a bit of western, mali tunatoa mahindi and all that.
I think we just need to go back
we don't diversify.
We need to go back and rethink as a country, as a nation.
We are in Africa, literally at the equator. Anyway, let's hope that this UN Food Summit will give us something of maana. What are you seeing on your end before niingie huko kwingine?
Well, there's this story about Governor Kihika opposing the move to scrap NGCDF. Hii pesa ya nini iko na shida. Yeah? Okay, Kika praised the NGCDF for directly impacting our communities and bridging development gaps often left unaddressed by county budgets. Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika has come out to strongly against any efforts to abolish the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, emphasizing its critical role in grassroots development and the delivery of services across the country. This is what she said. I am firmly opposed to any attempt to scrap the NGCDF. It has been instrumental in transforming lives at the grassroots. And you see, when you are talking of transformation of lives, do tunaongea vitu kama hizo, mambo na agriculture, mambo na kuangalia those areas where we need to look at alternatives to ensure that we have a water supply that can be used for agriculture and other things to develop the counties.
Yes.
But then we have these funds, but most of the time we do not see what really happens with the funds.
Yep.
But magavana wako pale wana defend. They are there, wanna defend, but we do not actually really see what is it about that man, what it really does.
Yeah,
you get. So it's quite unfortunate. Me personally, I think hata kuhusu hizi budgets, hizi pesa zenye zimekuwa zina allocate, and of course you'll bear me witness, of course no MP, no governor is going to vote this out. all of them wanataka these funds.
Yeah.
But now the question is, wakipewa hizi funds, what are they really doing with the money?
It's a good question, and that one should be directed to every one of your MPs. Wewe nenda kaulize MP wako. Actually, I think it's time citizens just go and start auditing these things for themselves. You go to your CDF office, or rather your whether it's a CDF office or the county office, or you go directly to your MP's office here in Nairobi if you have to, and literally get an audit. I don't know if they're posted online. That's a very good point where maybe we can start checking on and see Nairobi County, for example. Which constituency yako? Assuming you come from Dagoretti, uangalie your nani MP ametumia CDF yake namna gani.
Well, do you know, one of the things they were saying that, okay, currently the NG CDF allocates 54.7 billion annually to constituencies, sawa, supporting initiatives such as bursaries, school infrastructure, and other local development.
I want us to, we shall actually tackle that issue of bursaries because you remember on Friday, CS Mbadi alisema nini? That the government is unable to sustain free primary education.
Actually, free education too, especially sana primary, secondary school, and even institutions of higher learning.
Sasa nikajiuliza, Mheshimiwa Mwai Kibaki wakati ambapo introduce this whole free primary education, and he actually promised it even before he got into office. It was part of his campaign. Actually, I think he is one of the presidents who delivered after campaigns.
Yes,
after
delivered
elections.
The promises.
Yes, he might not have delivered everything, but he delivered majority of the things that he promised.
I like it. Unajua ilikuwa inafanyika na anasema watoto waende shule.
Even
take your kids to school. Na kuna watu nakumbuka then kuna wazazi ambao walikuwa wakikaa na watoto wao nyumbani. You are told that if we come to your home, we find a child ambaye hajaenda shule.
Machifu walitumwa wakaambua.
Yes.
Chiefs were told that if we find in your location mtoto ajenda shule, forget the parents, we shall deal with you as the chief.
Yes.
So chief walikuanga very vigilant, wakiona hata mtoto sokoni wanakimbia pale kujua noma iko wapi. But anyway, so getting back to this whole situation of education. So the government will not compromise access to education. This is according to President Ruto. And the story says President William Ruto has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to ensuring universal access to quality education, stating that his government will not compromise on the right to, on the right of every child to learn. Speaking during a Sunday service at ACK St. Martin's Church in Kariobangi, the head of state emphasized that free primary education is enshrined in the constitution and remains a cornerstone of his government's agenda. Now, CS Mbadi on Friday said what he said. Then over the weekend, a lot of other politicians came and said, hey, this one needs to be checked. Hii situation ya free primary education kupotea kidogo itakuwa ni ngumu bana. Now the president has come out to say that musijali, kila kitu iko shwari. We will not compromise on it because it is in the constitution. That's fine. We sat here a couple of weeks ago with Deputy Government Spokesperson Gabriel Muthuma, and one thing I asked him, and I think we asked him on and off air, why do we have a lot of confusion in terms of the communication that comes from State House and basically more or less from government? Because government officials say one thing, then other government officials say another thing.
Yes,
and they are talking about the same thing. So I'm like, why isn't the person in charge of that thing be the one to just have the final word as far as that is concerned? So here is a case of a CS in the Treasury Department. Yeye ndiye ameshikilia wallet ya country. Na anatuambia wasi hatuna do.
Shawaambia kwamba kufikia hapo hatuwezi somesha watoto wenu bure.
So ni kama sasa, and I like using the family setup. It's like now it's you and your it's the father and the mother. So the father is the holder of the wallet. We know in most cases it's the father. Baba amekuja amesema wase tumesota. Hatuwezi afford chakula leo. But mama anaenda kwa butchery. Anaambia butcher, wewe usisikize mzee.
Acha kusikiza maneno ya mzee.
Kata nyama ya kilo. Kata nyama ya kilo. So I wonder, your husband has clearly told you we don't have money. And you know for a fact we don't have money. But now you, because wewe unasema wewe wachana mzee, umeitisha nyama ya kilo ikatwe, pesa ya kulipa itatoka wapi? So who should we trust? Should we trust the president, or should we trust the CS?
You know, when I was looking at the sentiments that these leaders are making, including the president, the sentiments they are making about this whole issue, Mbuvi, I was like, ama hii kitu ilifanywa intentionally.
Ninio?
History underfunding and allocating the funds for education, because now, did you hear when they went to the Senate? Is it the Senate or the National Assembly? What they went and said, what Buddy was telling them, like, sasa, we are going back to the hii pesa ya CDF tunaenda hapo. Why can't we just put all these thing hii basket ya education, hizi pesa mnapeana bursaries, we are going to take it back to the national treasury. Sasa huko iende igawiwe kila shule, kila mtoto apate free education.
Unamkumbuka fanya mambo Kinothi akiketi hapa kituambia the same thing.
Yes.
And he said, guys, and he said this is a concept, he's the originator of this whole concept, and I trust him because he has no reason to lie about it. He said that, guys, look, this is a very simple situation. Let us just go back to the bursaries instead of giving every MP a bursary to go and dish it out.
Kuna bursary ya governor, kuna bursary ya MP, kuna bursary sijui ya MCS,
hata kuna ya president.
Kuna ya president.
The way he explained it, because he has clearly done his homework better than we have, and he said that money is enough to fund the entire free education concept all the way mpaka university, because usisahau kuna kwanga na bursaries pia za university.
Of course.
So I'm like, then why are we not doing it? So I hope this is what I just hope that perhaps this is what they will do.
So as we sit right now, and do you know they've really been defending that kitty, the bursary kitty, it has been defended by all the leaders in all means, you get. So right now, wacha tuone, because sasa wameambiwa okay, tupunguze hii pesa yenu, tuende tuweke kule, watoto wote wapate kusoma for free.
Tufanye hivi, tufanye traffic, and then when we return, of course we're going to be telling you what more is happening in the newspapers and telling you whether indeed hii maneno ya school fees ita happen ama haita happen. Traffic. All right, so what are we looking at? Let me zoom into Nairobi County and tell you where you guys are stuck and where you're moving. If you're on Thika Super Highway, like we like calling it, this is what is happening. Kama uko sehemu za survey kutoka Utalii Hotel, the traffic is stuck. Guys are not moving. Also coming from barabara inajitanga nini kutoka Muthaiga, Kiambu Road. Yes, yeah, I see it. So kutoka Kiambu Road as well, joining Super Highway, also bumper to bumper right now. But the funny thing is, when you go past the Northview Road, everything is moving quite well. So Muraga Road, Thika Road, yuko kote mko sawa sawa getting into the CBD. No complaints coming from that particular area. Let me go check out barabara inajulikana kama Mombasa Road. So if you're driving past Panari, you're looking good. However, if we go back a bit, how far back can we go? Can we go far back as Mulolongo? Yes, we can actually. So if you're coming from Mulolongo, kila kitu iko sawa. So that means also everyone coming from Kitengela, coming also from Kunito Ajikule, Athi River, mko sawa sawa. So where do things get thick? Let me see. Let me find out. Things might get thick when you approach where Bellevue, South Sea. Hapa ndio kidogo kunakuwa na traffic, but things are moving nonetheless. It's only 6:32, 28 minutes to the top of the hour. I don't expect much traffic at this particular point.
Jogoo Road, sorry. I told you between Makandara pale hivi ukikuja town, there is a section there we have a lot of traffic. Actually it's totally red. Then after that we can see the vehicles are really moving mpaka ufike kwa junction ya hii Mohammed Yusuf Hajj Avenue. Hii ni ile barabara inatoka Jogoo Road ikiingia kule Isili. There is a little bit of traffic pale kwa hiyo junction. And then as you head towards City Stadium, that's where we also seeing a little snarl up. Then Kamukunji Business Center, that area we are seeing a lot of red, a lot of traffic as you get to town. Kariako roundabout, things are not bad. Yes, things are not bad on that side. Ukienda upande wa Jogoo Road, things are quite okay except ukifika pale junction. And also ukifika katika roundabout ya City Mortuary, that is where we are seeing a little of a snarl up, but the rest of the road things are quite okay. Ukienda Mombasa kila kitu iko shwari kwa sasa, bado ni mapema.
Alright, chochote barabara mnachofikiria tunafaa kukijua, tafadhali mtupate pale Radio Gen KE, that's on Facebook, Twitter, actually across all social media.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
Alright, we're back to discussing what's happening. I guess we are done with that story for education. We hope that indeed pesa tafikia mahali inafaa kufikia.
And actually we will be having a bigger discussion because we have a guest who will be discussing about the entire crisis around education.
Yes, so check out rgk.co.ke for more stories such as this story on Garissa Referral Hospital, which has secured sustainable drug supply. There's another one, tension in Turkana South after deadly bandit attacks and livestock theft. And there's this story about the foreigner who abandoned 41 kilos of cannabis at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, who has been arrested. So quite a lot to check out on rgk.co.ke. And by the way, we're also live there. Live video to be precise. Yeah, so you
on
can,
our social media platforms kila mahali.
You can actually get it all in one. Kuna live video pale kwa channel yetu ya WhatsApp. Si ya WhatsApp, inaitwa nini kitu?
Ya X.
Ya
YouTube.
X
na kwa YouTube, na vile vile kwa Facebook. We are live.
We are live on all those platforms.
Yes.
But you can get everything on rgk.co.ke, including our very good looking faces right there. Aya, sawa. Let's get into the newspaper review. Paper check, as we like calling it here. Starting with the Standard, 4-day ordeal. What is this about? The men who abducted activist Mwabili Mwagodi in Tanzania wanted to know why he was causing trouble in Kenya. Yeah? They blindfolded, handcuffed, and drove him to a scene of torture. They stomped on his head and jabbed him with syringes. After the abuse, they dumped him across the border into the hands of another ruthless crew on the Kenyan side. Meanwhile, a Kenyan scholar in the US has petitioned the UN to stop President Ruto from addressing the General Assembly in September, citing his worsening human rights record.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jeslina Mwabili ambaye ni mamake Mr. Mwabili Mwagodi amesema hivi, I want to tell our president Ruto that at the height of the 2022 general election, Mwabili went round Sagala in Voi on a motorbike campaigning for you. Spare his life. This is Jeslina Mwabili.
Mamake addressing the president.
Yeah. Mamake activist Mwabili Mwagodi. All right. Nikifungua pale ndani.
When is this supposed to end? When is is it supposed to stop?
Well, the president said it stopped. So I really don't like Daniel alisema hapa Meshak Kiprop alisema I can't hold brief for anyone. So maybe I won't hold brief for anyone, but I remember very well the president said no more abductions. Yeah. Shock of Kakamega police post manned by only a single officer. Did you know that?
Read that again?
Yeah. So shock of Kakamega police post manned by only a single officer. Gangs have unleashed terror on Shimanyiro residents. The nearest police station is 7 kilometers away. Yeah. So when the Imulama police post was established 5 years ago, residents of Shimanyiro located at the border of Ikolomani and Lurambi constituencies in Kakamega County were pleased that the post would provide them with security in the troubled areas. However, 5 years later, the hopes of locals are quickly fading due to persistent insecurity. Now, the police post is now a deserted public facility with only one police officer operating it at his own discretion, manning the entire Shimanyiro location. The situation at Imulama police post paints a grim picture of the broader national crisis, limited personnel, and Kenya's struggle to meet international standards for police to citizen ratios, which fall far below the recommended target. Yeah. So when the Standard visited the post on Tuesday, it was closed with no officer present and no services being offered. So that story is on page 2. It's actually very shocking. So a police station with one police officer. He's the OCS, he's the corporal, he's the police constable. Sasa akikushika, tuseme amekushika, anakupeleka huko ndani, yeye ndiye atakuandikia OB, Yeye ndiye atakuletea maji ya kunywa, chakula. Yeye ndiye atakuletea maji kama unafaa, cause ni maabusu wanaosha kule ndani.
What is not happening? What's the problem?
The last time I checked, we usually
What is the problem? We have a lot of police officers in our country.
The last time I checked, we usually have police recruitment even from Kakamega, akina Lurambi na Ikolomani. So hao askari ambao wanarekrutiwa huko huwa wanapelekwa wapi? Because I was thinking the first place you need to take them is once you've recruited and trained them, take them back home to protect their constituencies.
Kenya iko na mambo mengi sana. Sometimes hata unashindwa, okay, what do you have to say about that? Like, how do you have a police station? Hata usemi kama ni police post. Unajua ni a post kidogo ni ndogo, but a police station
kidogo ni tricky hiyo. Haya. A mother's agony. There's a picture here, and this is the caption. Peris Wangoi, mother to James Mwangi, breaks down in tears during an interview at Lare, Njoro, Nakuru County yesterday. The 14-year-old's remains and pieces of clothing were discovered in a maize farm on Saturday after he went missing on Thursday. Locals suspect he was killed and devoured by stray hyenas from Lake Nakuru National Park that have been attacking residents and livestock. Kenya Wildlife Services officers later arrived to track the animals, but residents accused them of responding too slowly. I watched this situation on TV. The child disappeared a couple of days before, and they were really looking for this child, and then now they have found that atakiwa na fisi. Now residents in the area, actually the police and the county, I think the county commissioner, aliambia wanafunzi tafadhali mkuwe mnatoka shule mapema while there is still light. Na pia wakati wa kwenda shule wameambiwa waanze kwenda kutoka 9 am if I'm not wrong, when there is still light, when the hyenas probably have gone to rest. But when you see hyenas now preying on human beings, that means within the park maybe
there isn't
chakula hakitoshi.
And again, you know hyenas, tunawajua how they behave. Provided they see something they can eat, they would want to eat, and especially when it is young children, you know, they are small in size. Yeah, they are small in size. You don't know, here hyenas, they look at your size. Did you see that wildlife officer explaining like how what you need to be doing when you meet a hyena? There was sometimes last year.
I remember people laughed about it.
Yes,
but imagine it's a life-saving advice.
Yes, it makes sense. So you see, when a child is small in size, and so when a hyena sees you, of course they will be like, aka ni kadogo, aka naeza attack. So it's quite unfortunate. And again, I think they also need to be going in groups. Maybe going to school in groups.
That's a good
quite
idea.
Important. And also mapema pia it's
but
quite risky.
They should also be taken to school by at least an adult, either mzazi ama a caretaker. Ama mzazi mmoja a volunteer, sema today Monday, wacha mimi
I'm the one taking them.
Mwingine a volunteer kesho, and they can even provide that information at work.
Sides Juja, I think last year also kulikuwa na cases of hyenas attacking even women. Even women. So that's I think I would suggest like they go in groups, and also now the wildlife department also needs to check into that.
All right, Kano politician decries abductions across border. Sasa hii historia watu kushikwa across the border. IDPs, Gen Zs, protest victims seek justice and compensation. So kuna internally displaced persons na kuna Gen Z protest victims, wote wana seek justice and compensation. I will echo your words. This country. Lobby group flags digital content pushing smoking to African youth. So ATCA is particularly concerned about the use of smoking avatars and branded content in the metaverse. Such content is often packaged in ways that appeal to young audiences, portraying tobacco use as less harmful. Siku hizi watu wa young wameanza kuvuta sigara. We are talking about people who are under 18, and then of course those who are over 18, very heavy on that. Smoking is actually a very nasty habit.
True.
First of all, it just rots your teeth, gives you bad breath, and let's not forget it's carcinogenic. So your risk of contracting or rather developing something like cancer is quite high.
Yes.
And other issues as well. So guys need to check that out. That is on page 3 of the Standard. Court holds KRC evictions and criticizes violation of legal process. So if you've been evicted kwa Kenya Railways Corporation, I hope umeenda kotini uongee na watu. Mwagodi's 4 days of torture in the hands of agents from Tanzania. Yes, we touched on that one. It's on page 4 of the Standard. US-based Don wants Ruto barred from addressing UN meeting. This is quite interesting in terms of a read. A United States-based scholar has written to United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, urging him not to invite President William Ruto to the 80th United Nations General Assembly, abbreviated as UNGA. Yeah, scheduled to begin on 9th September in New York. Professor Peter Ndiangui of Florida Gulf Coast University argued that President Ruto should not be granted a platform at the Global Forum, citing serious human rights violations allegedly committed under his administration. Yeah, you can read more on that later on page 4. Police impunity raises 2027 polls violence risk. Rights groups have been warned. Have you seen this guy called Nelson Amenya? The guy who blew the whistle on a lot of things that are happening in the country.
Yeah.
I think including the Adani deal. So Nelson Amenya, on Friday, I think it was, he released a list of a couple of politicians who might be wanting to fund violence in 2027. Now, I want you to understand, we like saying Kenyans don't be msingie kwa violence, don't do this, do that. We even sing patriotic songs saying that we will not participate in
to love our country,
but tribal politics, and
yes,
we will not attack. We even have these slogans that the person of of a different tribe could be my brother or sister, because we have intermarried a lot.
Sure.
So you could be attacking your own brother-in-law or sister-in-law and you don't know. But I think if we are serious enough, this whole campaign should be dedicated to politicians. I'm not saying that what Amenya said is true or false.
You're right.
I'm not saying what he said is true or false, because it has not been verified by anyone. Where he got that information from, we are yet to know. Maybe he will let us know. I'm hoping this is just one of those mistakes, and I hope no one is funding violence or arming themselves for 2027. But to the youths who might be used, because ni youths wanachukuliangu hakuna mtu mwingine.
Of course, the young people.
To the youths who might be used, tafadhali be the change you want to see in your own country.
Yeah, most of the time, if you see what really happens in the country, if today mwanasiasa hata kuja alete pesa ambie watu nendeni ufanye hivi, I'm quite sure that kuna vitu hazitafanyika. Sometimes it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Ni pesa tu, like mbuvu tunaweza kuwa tunapendana, but when money comes in,
chuki inaingia.
Story ya chuki inaingia. You get, so it's quite unfortunate that this fight, as you're saying, it should not be to the citizens, I mean to the voters only. It should also be with the leaders. Actually hao ndo wanatakiwa wajue kwanza what their actions will lead the country into. Well, the Star newspaper, there's a bigger story there about Hustler Nation. Youth forge paths amid lack of formal jobs. That is the biggest story. And this is what it said. Skills mismatch blamed for sharp increase in unemployment. Skills mismatch blamed for sharp increase in unemployment. You remember the other day here when we were discussing about, I don't know, tulikuwa na nani who said that as a country, we focused so much into like the education sector. We did, and to ensure kwamba we have young people who are skilled, who are learned, who are trained. But now as a country, we did not plan for the future. Yeah. For the future of these people when you're mengia, like you remember we said total transition. Yeah? Complete transition.
Yes.
Kutoka nursery school mpaka primary school to secondary school, from secondary school to universities or to colleges.
Yeah.
So after that, did we really plan for whatever these people after school they are supposed to do?
Well, I wouldn't say that we didn't plan. What I would say is there was a blueprint which President Kibaki started with, right? He's the one who implemented free primary education. And there is no way we will say that we have trained people, Kenyans, young Kenyans,
yes,
and now they have the education, because it is good to have an educated population,
quite important,
as opposed to one that is not educated, illiterate and all that. So now that we have discovered the gaps, Nani, I think the guest here on Friday
that was
alisema na akatumia country fulani akasema they looked at I've remembered it, yule jamaa na run for governor wa Nairobi, na akasema that other countries looked at the surge in population and the youth, and they started planning like decades in advance, and I think he used Malaysia as one of the examples. So what we need to do here, it was Orina and alisema hivyo, what now we need to do, fine, we accept that we are late into the party, but now we start planning. We start planning from today. We start allocating those resources today, and we are not going to do it by taking away money from free primary education or free education for that matter. So whatever, because money is there, we just need to tighten the corruption spaces. Mahali pesa inapotea 2 billion a day yenye President Uhuru alituambia, that's enough money in a year. If we can gather all that 700 billion plus, that's enough money to create industries for young people to work in. It is enough money to fund entrepreneurship for young people to actually even themselves create employment. Yeah. So Mimi, I don't think we never thought about the future. We can do it right now. We might have been late to the party, but let's join the party and let's have fun.
And enjoy. Yeah. So just at a glance, this is what it says about Kenya's labor market in numbers, that 782,300 new jobs created in the economy in 2024. 782,300. Then 703,700 jobs created by the informal sector. Then 20.8 million. These are total number of people in employment in 2025. Kenyans out of the 55 to 60 million. Talking of 20.8 million. Those are the ones who are employed in the country. 17.4 million number of those in the informal sector. Then 67% unemployment rate among the youth. 67% of the youths in our country,
yes,
they are unemployed. Where? You ask yourself when you go to town in the afternoon, tao bro inakwanga imejaa. Yeah?
After kutoka saa ngapi?
Tao kuanzia saa 8.
Yes.
Ukifika town, the young people, nani the young people, unapata like, okay, I like it that most of them utapata wako na cameras, watakwambia simama nikupige picha. They are trying to make ends meet, but it really reflects this percentage that we are seeing on the newspaper, about 67% of the young people in our country not being in employment.
Yeah.
Wako tu wanazunguka. Then
na hiyo ni Nairobi peke yake?
No, just in the country.
Ndio nasema, yani kidogo huyo msemo umeona town na nanga town unaona watu wenye wamejazana.
Yeah.
That is Nairobi alone. I'm sure if you go to other counties, whether it's Kiambu or Mombasa, you'll also see youths just in the streets doing something different. They may not be doing content creation. They might just be even seated somewhere just wakikula jaba. That's how bad it is out here.
2 million average number of people who join the job market annually. Then 800,000 number of jobs created annually, mainly in the private sector. Then we have 63.9 million projected Kenyans population by 2030. 2030, we are talking of 63.9 million Kenyans. That is a projection. Then 44.5 billion projected value of economy in Kenya in 2025. Yeah, so it's quite unfortunate.
Yes.
Saturday, I think on Saturday there was an event that was happening at Uhuru Park. It was about whereby they said that some of the 25,000 youths that were inducted into the Climate Works program at Uhuru Gardens on Saturday. Uliona how the youth really turned out in that place.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that tumefikia hapo kama inchi. So on the unemployment crisis, government now sees digital and gig economies as key employment creation areas that need an enabling environment to thrive. That is basically what we are saying. You know, we have so many youth who are techno savvy. We have so many youth in our country who are so creative. Actually, creativity in our country is on the highest.
Yes.
Because of the young people. They are techno-savvy, they are creative, they are energetic, they have the time. What they lack is something to do. What they lack is an enabling environment whereby they can be able to thrive in their creativity. They can be able to do something even on the sides.
Yeah.
As they wait or they look for employment. So that is quite important. Then now, swali inakuja hapa Mbuvi. Even after seeing all this population that is unemployed, imagine gava inaingia pale katika tax.
Yep.
These small things that these young people are doing, tunaingia hapo tunachukua tax. I mean, what I usually like saying is that in Kenya we do not have that big revenue problem. The problem is the usage, the expenditure of the country.
But for me, I'm all for paying taxes, because if you go to countries like the US, people pay taxes. Whether they pay taxes, and it depends on the sector that you're working in. Tax yako inaweza kuwa kidogo. So I'm okay being, even because I'm a content creator as well, I don't mind being taxed. Okay, but I just want to understand, number one, my taxes will be well spent once they are collected, and also how much you're collecting. Ndio nisingie TikTok kama Facebook or whatever, and I make 1,000 bob, then mukuje 300. Unaget? So let me finish. I don't mind paying taxes, but I think first of all, it should be commensurate to what I am doing. And also the government needs to consider, these guys are young, ndio wanajidevelop, amwezi chukua majority of their money.
That was my point.
So kama anatengeneza 1,000 kwa mfano, I don't see taking 50 bob being a big deal.
That was where my point was. Like, if you put on hefty taxes on these young people who are actually trying to make ends meet, and actually you have not even enabled that environment, that work environment for them, what do you expect?
So you need 5% withholding tax for creatives. If you're making anything above 24,000, you're taxed at the rate of 5% withholding fee, which is fine, which is okay, which is actually what creatives are currently being, and independent contractors that are currently being taxed. So if I'm making 1,000 bob, could you 50 bob? I don't think paying 50 bob to Gava should be
now then now the challenge is appear the young people, and that is where the problem came in, whereby yes, we have contributed this money. So the reason why you would want to see people evading taxes, avoiding to pay taxes, it's because people want to see accountability of what we have paid already.
Sasa hapo ndipo shida iko. Gava inafaa, with the little money that they are getting so far, instead of us hearing these corruption cases, and that's why people want to see heads rolling. Tukisikia Patricia as the CS of education, amesimamia shule kama vinyo tulikuwa tunasoma last week, maneno ya capitation, people lost lots of money. Why? Because there are ghost schools that have been receiving billions. We should see the CS being arrested, because how did he approve money to leave the coffers, and yet kuna ghost schools zina exist? Na kama haku anajua, then CS aende akashike we need to see people being arrested, we need to see people going to court, and we need to see people actually being incarcerated in prison. So that when I am removing my 5% withholding tax, I'm actually feeling good about it, because ninajua it is being taken care of, na in case mtu aniibie, huyo mtu atafungwa. Sasa shida ya Kenya ni moja, tunalazimishwa kutoa tax. Again, we are saying that it is our responsibility as citizens,
it is our duty.
Lakini sasa here is a president who comes and tells you you're losing 2 billion a day,
and there's nothing that you
and then there's nothing he can do about it. Aya, tunaamka asubuhi tunaona hapa CS Mbadi anasema free education is unsustainable. Sababu ya nini? Kuna ghost schools zimekuwa zikikula billions of.
What are you telling Kenyans? What are you telling us?
Aya, tunaambiwa hospitali madawa zina expire. Tunaambiwa hospitali madawa hata hayafiki. Tunaambiwa equipment is non-existent. Tunaambiwa nurses hawatoshi. Tunasoma police station moja iko na askari mmoja. So you're like, then why are you taking my money if you cannot take care of it very well? You're telling me money is getting lost, yet I can see there's a police station that needs money here.
Yes.
Our roads are very bad. Kila asubuhi ninaamka, ninatoka nje na kanyanga takataka. Na si takataka tu peke yake, maji ya sewage. You're exposing my children to cholera and typhoid, and then you're telling me to pay tax.
To pay taxes. So I think these taxes that people pay, they should match with the services that we get as Kenyans. If we pay taxes, we have no problem with paying taxes, but now this should match the services that we receive from the government.
If President Ruto wants to regain back the love of Kenyans, come 2027, which is still not a guarantee. But if he wants to gain the love of Kenyans, and perhaps hii maneno ya maandamano ishe na hizi stories za #1terms #Ruto must go ziishe akitaka, and this is something that he can actually do today. Today the 28th day of July 2025, tuamke tusikie people have been arrested, na aseme huyu amearestiwa because of aliba pesa ya shule, huyu amearestiwa because aliba pesa ya hospitali, huyu amearestiwa because aliba pesa ya polisi, huyu amearestiwa because amekuwa collect bribes za hapa na hapa, amekuwa kihangisho wa Kenya. Do you know, Kenyans, I think first of all we will even get a sigh of relief, because even I wouldn't want the president to go, because I want him first of all to deal with these idiots, you know, arrest them, take them to court, and we need to see them being given sentences, proper sentences. Si mtu otio sijui evidence imepotea, atio inachukua time and time again, sijui kama yule MP alikuwa amesema ni mgonjwa, alikaa hospitali miezi miwili juu hataki kushikwa na askari. We need to see action as far as corruption is concerned. Anyway,
Mungala,
it's time for the news. Yes.
He who comes to justice must come with clean hands.
No.
This is just a statement. Nimekumbuka tu.
Aya, sawa. Winnie Maganga, tupashe.
The sound is fine, pump it up, turn it high, all the time, let the music.
It's 7 o'clock.
Radio generation, the sound is fine, pump it up, turn it high, all the time, let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The government will continue funding free education so that the principle of quality and affordable schooling is not compromised. This is according to President William Ruto. The president said primary and secondary education is a constitutional right for all children and the government is committed to providing it. Speaking at the Anglican Church of Kenya at St. Martin's Parish Light Industries in Kariobangi North, Nairobi on Sunday, he pointed out that the government will continue to give priority to the development of the education sector.
Na mimi nataka niwahakikishie wa Kenya ya kwamba free primary education katika primary na secondary ni haki ya kikatiba ya wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Tumehakikisha ya kwamba in the last 2 years tumefanya mambo kadhaa to make sure that education is truly universal and truly accessible, because the commitment we have is that education is the greatest empowerment that any society, any country can give to its young people. Na sababu hiyo ndio tumeweka pesa nyingi kujenga madarasa mpya. Kwa miaka miwili imepita tumejenga madarasa mpya 23,000. Hapa Nairobi peke yake niliwapatia wabunge wa Nairobi bilioni 1 kujenga madarasa mpya hapa Nairobi.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has spoken about remarks he made last week that appeared to cast doubt on the sustainability of the government's free education program. Mbadi now claims that he had been misquoted, that his message was directed at Parliament, not the public. The CS stressed that his message was an appeal to lawmakers to increase funding for education rather than a warning to parents about looming school fees crisis. While he acknowledged the government's fiscal challenges, Mbadi, however, said parents should not be alarmed.
I was speaking to policy makers. I was speaking to members of Parliament who approves the budget, and I told them we must enhance the budget for capitation so that every child receives 22,000. What we have in the budget today is less than 22,000. If you want me to lie to Kenyans, I am not ready to lie to Kenyans. We must budget so that every child is supported as the policy says. And this has been happening from the times of Uhuru. We don't want schools to accumulate debts.
A coalition of civil society organizations has condemned what it terms the enforced disappearance, harassment and incommunicado detention of Kenyan activist Mwabili Mogodi. According to a statement issued on Sunday by the Police Reforms Working Group Kenya, Mogodi was kidnapped in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania on July 23rd and then abandoned in a forested area in Kinondo, Kwale County around 3 a.m. on July 27th. Mogodi reportedly walked several kilometers to Diani police station to seek help, only to be met with threats of arrest by police officers. The groups are now demanding an official apology from the National Police Service and independent investigation into the conduct of Diani-based officers. Police have arrested a 57-year-old man who allegedly attempted to smuggle over 41 kilograms of cannabis sativa through the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. According to the DCI, the suspect, identified as Wong Fang, had arrived in the country from Bangkok, Thailand. Upon clearing immigration procedures at JKIA, he retrieved 2 large suitcases and proceeded to the customs inspection area. However, according to DCI, just as customs officers began examining his luggage, Wong pretended to answer a phone call and slipped away, abandoning his luggage in the screening zone. The suspect, who was traced to a hotel in South Sea, Nairobi, is said to be arraigned in court. The United States and European Union have reached a trade deal which will see a blanket tariff of 15% on all EU goods imported to the US. President Donald Trump says the EU has promised hundreds of billions of dollars of investment and energy purchases. Trump and the President of European Commission met for talks in Scotland on Sunday. She called the agreement a huge deal. The new deal is set to kick on Friday and means the Europe will avoid threatened imports charges of 30%.
So those things are 750 billion, 600 billion, opening up the country. We are agreeing that the tariff straight across for automobiles and everything else will be a straight across tariff of 15%. So we have a tariff of 15%. We have the opening up of all of the European countries, which I think I could say were essentially closed. I mean, you weren't exactly taking our autos, you weren't exactly taking our agriculture, and then you would have smaller things, but for the most part it was closed. And now it's open.
And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. It is now 6 minutes past 7 o'clock. Thank you so much, Winnie, for that mpasho. I hope everything has been digested well by those who are listening. Now, we were just talking about a couple of things earlier on. You were going actually through the paper, and one of the things that we said in terms of paying taxes, tafadhali, we hope that we shall see heads rolling. And I said this is the one thing that will actually make people love the president once again. Hizi stories za maandamano, na that is for kwa wale kama kuna yote ambaye kuna shida na yeye, mtaanza kuona mabadiliko.
Well, and I told you that fighting corruption in our country, well, because corruption is not just one-off thing. It's something that is deep-rooted. It is something that started long time ago, and it is something that is in the systems.
No,
so for you to be able to fight that, kuna kazi.
No, ukasema mtu ambaye ata fight corruption na kuja with clean.
No, what I said is, it is just a quote I hear from the courts. They say he who comes to justice must come with clean hands. I don't know whether I'm putting it correctly, but it is a saying that I like so much. Actually, I mostly hear it in the courts.
But we get the point.
Yeah.
You see, the thing is, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter whether I have come with clean hands or not. Yeah. The point here is, you do your part, because in the past you might have been a very bad person. Sawa. but haimaanishi now that ulikuanga mtu mbaya na umebadilika sasa usifanye justice.
Please, what I'm saying, I don't want you to take this out of context.
Yeah.
Yes, because I said, and I did not say it is just one specific person. I said he who must come to justice must come with clean hands. And actually, because the reason why I said it, because it is not the president who is fighting this thing alone.
Yeah.
It is not the president who is fighting this. So this is supposed to be fought by people who are also in the system, and that is why I told you it is kind of most of the time inakuanga very hard, because you will be challenged hata wewe. You'll also be challenged. So it's quite, so it's for you to do that cleanup. It is a whole process that needs time. Yenye president hata amuka tu leo hii ambie watu mimi nimepigana na corruption. Yes, he will try to put on the basics, the foundation. But then now pale ndani ushaonanga mtu anakuja na kuambia bwana Mungala, you stole. You stole. And then wewe unakuja namwambia nini? Niliiba mimi. Na wewe nakukumbusha. No.
Okay.
Na kukumbusha siku fulani. What did you do on this?
So inakuwa ni nipe nikupe.
Yeah, that's why I used that statement. Wewe siku fulani ulifanya nini?
Pia uliiba. So inakuwa ni kazi ya kurushiana, and that is why it is quite difficult to fight corruption in our country. Right. All right, sasa basi, that is the conversation that we were having earlier on. We went through the papers, letting you know what you can find in there, and you can find most of those stories, if not all of them, on rdk.co.ke.
Mungala, kuna kastori kamoja hapa kabla tuingie kwa guest. Nairobi dead to rest near inmates in committee as city secures burial site.
Come again?
Nairobi dead to rest near inmates in committee as city secures burial site. Every week, about 30 families in Nairobi bury their loved ones at Langata Cemetery, a burial ground declared full nearly 25 years ago. Ilijaa 25 years ago, and then graves the crowd every inch of space, and at times remains from earlier burials resurfaces, exposing a quiet but growing crisis in the city's final resting places. Now, Nairobi County has secured 150 acres of new burial land in a long overdue move to ease that pressure on Langata and restore dignity at the city burials processes.
All right. That situation for burials has been quite a thorn in the flesh of Nairobi. A conversation that we actually tenge wakati tukuja tuiongelele. But leo, this particular hour, I'd like to introduce our guest. He goes by the name of Ndungu Wangenya. He's the National Secretary of Kethawa, and he's also an advocate of High Court of Kenya. And he used to work in the county government. I think it's Murang'a? Nyandarua County. Yes. All right, sasa karibu sana Mr. Ndungu.
Thank you.
To Radio Generation.
Thank you.
This particular morning we want to just focus on the education crisis, because it's been a very huge issue for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And if I'm not wrong, we've been getting conflicting information from the government in regards to that. So, number one, what is your opinion on what the CS of Treasury said, that is CS Mbadi? He said the government is unable to sustain free education. And then here we have politicians who are saying something similar. Others, of course, are of a different opinion. Then we have the president, President Ruto, saying that the education, the whole free education is in the constitution, na haitaguzwa na mtu yote. He's going to ensure that it continues. What do you make up of these statements that are coming from the government?
Thank you very much, and thank you this morning for meeting you since the last time I was here.
Yes,
and I really appreciate being in Radio Generation. It's quite an honor to invite me this Monday morning so that we can educate our people on what is patent issues about this whole debate or about. Number one, allow me to say that Honorable Badi is a devil's advocate. And in fact, if he sued today, I would also volunteer pro bono to represent him in court for making such sentiments. Because these are sentiments whereby many people and many CEOs even before feared, to speak it out. And that is a reality on the ground. Unless you own up and appreciate where you are, then you start the process of healing. In medical hospital, the professions are counterpart, as being legal, them being medical profession. When you go there, and Madam goes there, she has a headache. She has to accept that she has a headache. If she's diagnosed with malaria, she has to accept that she has malaria, so that the doctor can now know the correct prescription to administer to her. If you go and be organized by another disease, you have to accept that reality. So honorable body actually broke the ice, where majority of say the ministers or the government officials have always been fearing, because the reality is we haven't been funding basic education as it is required. It is not there. It's a fallacy. We are living fallacious life, so to speak. Because if you tell a principal of a high school that he'll get 22,244 per child, and that school has 1,000 school-going children, how much money is that? It's approximately 22 million. So he'll do his budget with the 22 millions, isn't it?
Yes.
He'll call the supplier, bring me maybe
nyama,
1 million, cabbages, beans.
Tabu.
There is a darasa here that was not complete. He gives to a contractor, he issues an LSO. But by the end of the day, he'll end up getting, out of 22, he'll get 15 million. While he get the deficit of 7 million from. So, but they came and said, and by the way, and for record purpose, and it's good to analyze and look at these things critically.
Yeah.
That thing did not start with this government. And that's why I said I'll be a devil's advocate today. It did not start now. The problem of free education, particularly in secondary, because you know in 2003 when Kibaki came in, he introduced free primary education.
Yes.
With a capitation fund of 1,020 per child. Okay?
Okay.
1,020 per child. By then we had about 5.9 school-going children. But by 2019, we had hit a 10 million target. Okay, so it therefore means it is skyrocketing. Then when he came in 2008, he introduced free day secondary school with the amount of 10,000 per child. Actually, it was 10,021 per child.
Yeah.
Then the population kept on increasing. Then in around 2012, Uhuru, 2013 when Uhuru took over power, the amount was increased to 12,000. Okay?
Yeah.
Then in 2018, the money again increased to 20. The current now we have 22,244. It was increased in 2018. But now they are forgetting that they are increasing the amount. By the way, by the time Uhuru came in 2018, 2019, COVID hit.
Yep.
So the target he had projected could not be met. So what do? Do you abandon the cause? You start scaling down. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So because the revenue targets, you know, and I've worked in government, and I want to be realistic. And that is the same replica that happens in counties. When I was in county, I could make a budget proposal. As a minister for education, I need 300 million per that financial year, because we used to make it in the counties. Then you present to the minister for finance. Okay, mimi napeleka yangu 300 million. Mwingine anapeleka yake 500 million. So the total budget for the entire county government hits to around 8 million. Okay? Because mimi nimepeleka yangu 300 million, mwingine amepeleka yake 500 million, minister mwingine anapeleka yake. Roads used to have majority like almost 800 million, because we have to do a lot of roads plus water. And the irrigation we used to have around 600 million. So the entire budget comes to around 8 billion. So tunapelekea Minister of Finance, he tabulates, he take the proposals to the county assembly.
Yeah.
It is passed. But now, out of 8 billion we have projected, okay?
Yes.
We have estimated own source revenue, because we shall generate our own source revenue.
Right.
We estimate maybe in our own source revenue we shall collect 1 billion. Then maybe donor grants and all that, conditional grants that are given by national government, another maybe 2 billion. And maybe the national government now, shoulder the deficit that is remaining. That is 3 plus 2, that is 5. Then 3, and then the 5 comes from national government. Okay. But now, let's go to the ground. I need my money. And because it is now approved budget, it's a budget line. You will come to my office. Madam will come to my office. I'll give him an LSO. Go and do this work, because there is money in the budget. In procurement laws, later I'll be teaching you, you cannot procure when you don't have money in the budget.
Yes.
But now the money is in the budget, and I'll issue an LSO. But in reality, out of the projected 800 million own source revenue we had projected to correct, we are only going to correct 150 million. So you've been left with a deficit of 650.
Yeah.
And you have issued people LSO, they have executed the work. Mwingine alienda bank akakopa, si ndio? So pakona LSO ya serikali yenye imesainiwa na authorized officer and approved na iko kwa budget, legal document. Umeenda bank imeona LSO, imekupea loan. You have constructed a classroom a workshop, or whatever, and it is complete, is very smart, but you'll stay almost 4 years before you are ever paid. Because you are ready to pay bills.
So, Ndongo, I have a question here, because again, and I like using the home as an analogy, because the home is more or less the basic unit of a country.
Exactly.
So now, if in my own home, I take austerity measures,
yes,
and I decide, I look at my salary, and I say, now this is the money we have as a family, and of course, madam anaekelea yake pale kwa meza, and we say, now, this is the money we have as a family. There are some things we obviously will not do. We are not going to go to Dubai if we do not have the money. Hata Diani tunaweza kosa kuenda. Then we say, if we really need to go out and enjoy as a family, can we consider going to the national park in Nairobi? Can we consider going for swimming at a local swimming, where the swimming amount for swimming ni 100, 200, as opposed kuenda mahali utalipa 1000? So why is the country not doing something similar in terms of, we know there's some basic priorities? Because even in my own home, I'll make sure school fees has been paid, and we have food to eat, and of course rent has been paid. Na tuko na stima, because we cannot survive without those 4 basic things: school fees, chakula, stima na maji. Anything else it can wait. Hata internet si lazima, tunaweza nunua bundles if we need to. So now, why is the country not doing something similar? We have seen budgets being allocated to places where they are not necessarily. For example, the state house budget for moving around, transportation is currently, forget the church. The church, the president said it's his own money, and I'd like to trust him that it is his own money, not my money. So if the state house transportation budget last year, it was 900 and something 33 million, right now it is 2.17 in the last budget, 2.17 billion. We are increasing. I'm seeing us giving money to places where they are not necessarily needed, and we can go through the entire budget and we'll find such kinds of expenditure that are not needed. Yet there are people who do not have food. We could have taken that money there. Students don't have that school fees for free education. Do you think, if you look at the budget that was passed, do you think that we have our priorities right?
I expected that question, by the way. And it's a very good question.
Right.
Let's look at it like this. Education, one, is a recurrent expenditure. It's not a development expenditure. Now, I told you in my high school, I am a jack of so many trades. I did some basics accounting, because actually one of the unit I did was accounting. Actually, I wanted to be an accountant even before being a lawyer. There is what we call value chain and return on investment. Now, here we are. This financial year alone, this country has allocated over 700 billion out of the budget of 4.2. 700 billion. In fact, we are speaking of almost 70% of a trillion. And it is projected by 2035, if we go with the current trend, education alone will be taking a whole trillion Kenya shillings.
By 2035.
By 2035. Yes. It is projected. Because if today is 2025, we are allocating 700. I think it's 720.
Yeah,
billion.
I have
billion.
the figure.
You have the figure.
Yes.
Billion in education alone. That is one ministry. We have not factored money that is going to the counties, isn't it? Because now, again, when Uhuru took over, there was money that was supposed to go to counties. That is going also, it's also skyrocketing. 420, 500 and something. Madam, you give us the actual figure.
Yeah, it's 702.7 billion.
Good. Now, that money, let's also ask ourselves, we have poured and pampered. Actually, in the recurrent expenditure, education usually takes about 35% of the entire recurrent expenditure of the country. And it is the highest, by the way, in Africa, in Kenya. We should even be lucky. But now, we have taken all this money and we have poured it in education docket, which is okay and which is right. Then, these children have started from, kindergarten, ECD, they have gone to primary school, they have gone to junior secondary, colleges, university, and within no time, after a certain duration, 14, 15 years, they are out with their papers. These children are all over, tamacking around the country, knocking this office and the other one, looking for jobs. Are we together?
Yes.
Do you have the value for that money?
So there is no ROI.
No, just ask me. Do you have the value for that? Because what I would think is this. We have taken 700 billion and invested. Today, if I come and tell you, today you go to the bank with a business proposal. You tell them you want 7 million. First thing they'll ask you, for what? Isn't it?
True.
Tomorrow they'll ask you then, you want to start maybe a kiosk, but go tell them, I want 7 million to go for Asia. Yes, they'll go, but they'll give you because you have the capacity. but the development whatever
agenda
officer in charge will not approve all of them.
Right.
He'll tell you, kwanza hiyo unaenda Resha, kwanza wacha nikuwekee milioni moja, alafu ukimaliza you come for the next one.
Yes.
But go tell them, I want to build an investment here.
Yeah.
An income generating house. They'll even tell you, you don't need 7 million. Let's come do variation. They'll give you 10.
I want to challenge your thought because
just a minute I finish.
Yes,
just a minute I finish.
Okay,
so what we are saying is this: it is good to invest all that money, but now we must scratch our head beyond that and ask ourselves. We can even add it to even 2 trillion. So that we say this money we are pouring in education sector and in education docket. Let us make sure that one, we enhance industries in this country, so that when these children come out, they don't just come out with the papers that we have pampered a lot of money, but they know jobs. They become reliant. Another day somebody asked me, between, there is this MP and because they are there and they are all over in the media, called Redinyoro of Kiharu.
Yeah.
True of us. He usually put tiles in his classes. They look very beautiful.
Yeah.
True or false? Very beautiful. He paints them. New face of, There is another one in Kapsaret called Oscar Sudi. Another day he paraded all his people, giving them kusiaga unga. Posho meals, giving them motorbikes. Kama ni a lady wants a salon anawanunulia hiyo package yote. And then somebody asked me, between the two, who is doing good for his people?
Okay.
Just tell me, who is doing good? To me, it's Oscar Sudi. Because Oscar Sudi is empowering people. Tomorrow, those people will not come for bursary. For the tomorrow you paint the class and put the tiles, but tomorrow his people will still come for the bursary because it did not empower them. So what I'm saying is this: let's have this whole debate and ask ourselves, we need more money in education. Then after that, what next?
Okay, right. I wanted to challenge your thought on in the terms of what educating these people will give back. Actually, as we grew up, we know that education is the best investment that you can give to your children. First of all, so I want you to look at a country whereby we have those industries, but we have people who are not skilled. We have people who are not learned. Is it not a challenge?
Now, let me answer you that one straight away. We have those industries with the people who are not skilled. We don't need, like now, when a school produces, do we need all the degree holder to run that industry? By the way, it is said for one degree holder, you need like 12 technical people beneath you. And I said this, and I want to also to come back to this. Kenya, in fact, we don't even need any more extra university. In fact, even the existing one need to be scaled down. Today, universities are running in debt. True or false? True. And this is part of the money, by the way, we are still pouring there.
Yes.
More university is cruising down. University of Nairobi, I think it has a debt of almost 12 billion or
all
crazy
the
figures. All of them,
yes.
They are cruising. Egerton, they are ever in strike. One guy who was teaching there as a lecturer, he told me they have gone for almost, there's a day they went for 4 months without salaries. Okay? We are running down. Now, what we need in this country is to empower mid-level technical institutions so that we get skilled people. Skills is not the degree, the paper we are pouring in university day in, day out. Skills is empowering that Kasimol Village Polytechnic. And I told you I was a CEC in education. I was in charge, by the way, of VCD and Village Polytechnics. One of the polytechnic, and I'll mention it here, called Mirangini Polytechnic, it's a government institution. During COVID-19, that institution, because we used to have clothing, textile and interior design and fashion and design and cookeries, we call it food, nutrition and dietetics.
Right.
Those people, they made masks that we supplied in the entire county of Nyandarua. So all this money we are pouring to education, can't we pour? We create what we call, and this is the debate. By the way, and for record purpose, maybe last time I was here, I'm now the National Secretary of Education Stakeholders Association of Kenya. We have come together, all the association. We are about that standing home. There are many all over. We have come together under one umbrella. And Kedawa National Secretary was also elected as a National Secretary for the entire body. And Kepsha Chair, Mr. Fuad Ali, of Kenya Primary School Heads Association, is our overall chairman.
Okay.
We decided we are going to have a National Education Dialogue Day, so that we can come together and ask ourselves, apart from just pouring money and releasing papers, what can we do to make sure that all this money, because it's an investment, surely you cannot tell me pouring 700 billion should just be poured and our children just start tamacking with it.
Dongo, let me ask you.
Let's do the entire value chain, right from its initiation to the end product. And
I have
then
a
we
question.
Get the value.
I have a question.
Yes.
There are countries that are doing free education.
Yes.
All the way from kindergarten to university.
Yes.
Yes. And there's something we like doing in this country called benchmarking, and we spend billions every year benchmarking. Why is it so difficult to? Because if Germany has done it, Finland has done it, and they're currently doing it, and many other countries are doing it. We're talking about Norway is doing the same thing. We're talking about Denmark are doing the same thing. Why is it so difficult to go and see how Denmark are getting an ROI on the education system?
Good.
And Germany is getting ROI, and Netherlands and Norway. Na wale wengine wote wanafanya hivyo.
Now we are talking.
It's only one plane, 8 hours.
Now we are talking.
We land in Amsterdam and see what they're doing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like. Today did you? I'm sure. Let me not ask you, but I'm sure you brushed your teeth.
Yes, I did.
Like I did also.
Yes.
Which I don't know which toothpaste you used, and let's not mention them here because you are not advertising.
Sure.
But we used toothpaste.
Yes.
In one way or the other.
Yes.
Do you know in 2006, one of the company that was making toothpaste was based here in Nairobi,
Okay.
in an industrial area.
All right.
Do you know today it closed down? Okay. Today, if that company is still in existence, it would have employed so many people.
True.
True of us?
True.
Another company that was assembling motor vehicle here, hapa tu Uhuru Highway hapo. Sitawataja jina pia because we are not here to advertise.
Mimi nawajua.
Unawajua.
I have worked with them a couple of
You have
times.
worked with them.
Yes.
Have they closed shops today?
They have.
And so many other companies, they are closing day in, day out. Are we together? Now you have for us to get ROI for this return on the investment we are doing. Those are some of the things we should be doing. That now it is not just investing in education, but what do we expect at the end? Now, today, and I'm telling you this is because it's a challenge. Today, the budget we have just read of 4.2, about 1.2 trillion will go to repaying debts. Okay? So we are left with about 3 trillion.
Yes.
Out of 3 trillion, almost 2 point something will go to recurrent expenditure, salaries, fuel, blah, 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 all that, you know. And this now, even including the education, which is taking almost 35% of that.
Right.
Isn't it? We are left with this right here almost 700
yes.
to do development. Are we together?
Yes.
So what are we saying here? That in case we pour all this money, we expect returns on the same, so that it is not just we are pouring the money to education docket. And that is why we are saying in this debate we are calling upon, we want to be innovative, so that we don't just crucify body for nothing. Number one, the junk of the money in Kenya particularly are going to debt, education, and counties devolved funds, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, can we, because debts we have to pay because we borrowed and we have consumed anyway, and we have to pay. Okay, hiyo imeenda. Number two, when we come to counties, can we now tell the counties we empower them or we enhance them with the so-called benchmarking, so that they also start generating their own income to reduce over reliance with the national government?
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
So that now a county does not come, it has a budget of 8 billion, and it wants the government to finance 95%, they are only generating 5%. What can they do? We even say it's half. You generate 50%, we give you 50%. You know, they'll even see the value of the money. Counties, by the way, that are one that are generating their own income, most of the times they don't cry when the allocation for the national government delays, because they at least have money to be paying salaries. And again, in these same counties, over 75 to 80% of the money that goes to county again goes to recurrent expenditure, duplication. Kuna minister, madam ni minister wa education wa Mombasa, when minister wa education wa Kilifi, it's just a borderline. How can we even enhance what we call the economic blocks? Of course, the economic block, so that we reduce duplication. Are we communicating?
Yeah.
Number 3, we come now to education. In education, can we also start thinking outside the box? I have one school, an example, and I will not mention it here, whereby in their own piece of land, and we must start thinking outside the box and being innovative. In their own piece of land, because they have a good junk piece of land, they usually grow wheat. When they grow wheat, they grit the wheat, whatever, they make the wheat flour.
Yeah.
They make bread, so the school does not buy bread. Do they save on the capitation? They will be relying on the government.
They
If
save.
the delays, children are eating bread.
Yes.
They have cows, they milk. So the tea they are making in schools and uji is coming from their own cows. If there is a capitation delays, are they still continue taking uji and chai?
They are continuing.
Number 3, the same cow they slaughter when they want to have a meal, nyama. Isn't it? When the children are going on strike, there is no meat. They have their own cows they can slaughter and continue getting meat. They have the same farm. They usually grow. It is seasonal. When times for wheat, times for maize. They grow maize. They create their own wheat flour. Wakati shule zingine zinalia hakuna unga. The principal has already amesiaga unga, watoto wanakula ugali, and they are. Should we? It is a time we start thinking outside the box.
Well, I like your perspective. I like your perspective. But now I still want to take you back, because I'm looking at the budget that we have for education for this 2025-2026 financial year. We are talking of 702.7 billion.
In education.
Then
and it's not enough.
Yes, which is not enough. First of all, the question will be, those who are in that committee that were coming up with this budget and the Ministry of Education, they had a responsibility. Like, we just want to be realistic. We are in a country where tunajua financially we are not doing that well, right? But then now, where is the okay, did they do that feasibility? Like, we know schools in Kenya are this much. We have a population of this much in our schools.
Almost 20 million, all the schools. But high school, it's about 4.2 million.
20 million. So my question is, why have they been allocating funds that they feel that they are not enough, while they are not coming out and saying, well, this is what we were anticipating.
Good.
And this is now what is on the ground. Exactly. Why is it that they have never ever come out to say that? They only came out just the other day when now things went haywire.
Haya, shikilia hapo tufanye traffic. Okay. Shikilia tu hapo. Tengeneze ujibu vizuri. Meanwhile, this is what is on the roads of Nairobi.
Traffic.
So tukiangalia vizuri tena hapa mahali panaitwa Hurlingham, bumper to bumper this particular hour. It's now 7:35. That means that people are getting into their offices, others are leaving Hurlingham wakitoka sehemu mbalimbali wakijaribu kuelekea CBD. A bit of issues there. I'm looking at Langata Road as well right now. It's bumper to bumper, especially if you're approaching Lusaka Road. Hapo kuna shida kidogo. Douglas Wakihuri pia pale kuna ka issue kidogo, but nonetheless you are moving towards Bunyala Road. Things are looking not so bad. If you're heading towards Haile Selassie, the traffic starts at where is this? Oh yeah, so the traffic is quite slight actually when you're approaching the roundabout at Haile Selassie, but everything else after that is moving quite well. If I move back a bit on Mombasa Road, let's see. Mombasa Road, where is the traffic? I'm not seeing any issues on Mombasa Road. Just a little bit of issues at Bellevue, but slight movement nonetheless. Going back a bit all the way to General Motors, hapo ndio shida iko. So if you're approaching GM and you're coming from Mulolongo, Cabanas area nini, hapo ndio kuna shida. A little bit of traffic there, but it's moving. Slight delay of about 5 minutes if you're joining that road.
Gong Road is decorated with red, by the way. Kuanzia kule junction, there's a lot of traffic there. Ukija tena ukifika Prestige, that is where we also seeing a lot of traffic, both on the side of people coming from Kibra to Hurlingham, and also people going to town. Ukifika city mortuary roundabout also, we are seeing a lot of traffic on both sides, actually the four sides, as you come from town, as you get to town. Tukienda upande wa Jogoo Road, like I had indicated, there is some renovation that is taking place, that is between the area of Makadara to Botela. Yes, I can see. So there is a lot of traffic. Again, the junction here, Mohammed Yusuf Haj Avenue, I said there is also traffic there as you head to Eastleigh. Then City Stadium roundabout, there is also a lot of traffic. Ukienda Thika Road, where things are not okay. Kuanzia KCA kuingia town, things are not quite good. So ukifika kule, you have to be patient. We go all the way to Eastleigh, Kariako roundabout, a lot of traffic. So most of these roads, by the way, they have a lot of traffic. Tukienda Mombasa pia, I'm seeing lights Kengeleni, there's a lot of traffic also there. So most of the roads sasa hivi kuna traffic, msongamano wa magari.
All right, there you have it. Anything you think we need to know, Radio Gen KE is where you'll find us.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
All right, so in studio we do have our guest, that is Ndungu Wangenya. He's the National Secretary of Kethawa. He said that's an umbrella body for all education stakeholders in the Kenya, and of course he's also an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and he was the CEC of Education in Nyandarua County, right?
Yes.
All right, so
a correction, Kethawa is an independent, it's Kenya Teachers in Hardship, but the umbrella body is called it's Education Stakeholders Association.
All right.
It's also legally registered.
Okay, sawa. And we like the fact that you've brought your expertise in education.
Yes.
So kindly recap the question that you asked him, so that now he can answer it correctly, and we can get we can get the juice out of it.
Well, you know, I think the CS, they were blaming the ministry. I mean that the whole program that we said that we'll be funding students high school education with 22,000 sawa. But then they are saying that has not been realistic for the longest time.
Sure.
So my question is, who are we to blame? Because I think we have different stakeholders. We have the Minister of Education, those who are supposed to be giving the exact numbers of Kenyans that we have. So does it mean that the budget committee, those people sitting down and coming up with the budgets, they just go and they are doing guesswork? Is
straight away everybody has to be blamed. Everybody, including us, even as stakeholders, even as parents, everybody has to be blamed, because this is not a problem that has started yesterday. It is started, and I said this, it is started way back like 8 years ago, okay? And it's only that now it has reached beyond control, the boiling point. You know, when you compress so much, I did mathematics and chemistry in university. When you compress so much and the pressure is too much, it will burst eventually. It has now come to the point of bursting, and you know, we can no longer keep quiet. In fact, I love the debate. Entirely, I love the debate, because this is now the time we are coming out realistically that this is where we are, this is the reality, and everybody has to be blamed. One, we start with the ministry. The ministry will give projections, the number of students they have, like in secondary school, which is secondary school, by the way, takes the junk of the money that is usually given in capitation.
Sure.
So they'll take because like in the 2023 financial year, they requested for 96 billion. The money that was only available was about 75 billion. So it takes the junk of that money. So when the ministry gives the projections, we have this number of students, vis-a-vis this is the amount of money we require. Okay, TS will also request, because there has been massive employment of teachers to cater for JSS and the new CBE curriculum. When they give their projections, okay, they give projections of what they would require to sustain free education in the country, all these organs. Now, the ministry forward the same to the National Treasury. Okay, the National Treasury computes everything through the cabinet and forward the same also to the National Assembly. Okay, then the Minister of Finance will come here and say, okay, these are the projections the Ministry of Education requires. These are the amount, 700, maybe like I hear this year, instead of the 700 billion that has been allocated, they wanted over 900 billion. And that is why I'm telling you by 2020 that we are hitting $1 trillion plus. Okay?
Yes.
So it has been cut down. Why has it been cut down? Because again, uko kwenu pia Minister wa Road has come. He wants that you people, you have been demonstrating day and night. You want that road to be fixed. It is the only road, feeder road, that helps you to take your products to the market. On the other hand, county governments are crying. They want money, isn't it? They haven't paid their staff. They are shutting down. Another day, Governor Mutahi Kahiga was saying they are closing down the counties if the money will not have been released. So there is also pressure from the other end. It's also a constitutional requirement to send money to the counties.
True.
Hapo tumetoka. The National Treasury again comes in. We have a foreign debt of 1.2 trillion. We have to pay. So when the Minister of Education sit down, he looks, now hawa sasa sijui nitawapea ngapi. Foreign debt, you now go with the priority. We have the security issues. Now it also comes again, how much money have we collected? Okay? KRA has supposed to collect about 2.4 trillion and we have a budget of 4.2. So what do? We borrow again to deficit, to bridge the deficit of the budget. So now, because the alternative for borrowing is what? Overtaxing.
Yes.
Tumeletewa finance bill, tumedemonstrate hapa town mpaka tumeingia bunge. Isn't it? We don't want finance bill. Sindio? Because you are being overtaxed. So I'm telling you that when I say everybody has to be blamed, it is all of us, as we don't want to be overtaxed. On the other hand, we have foreign debts. On the other hand, we have other priority areas. We have to pay those debts. We have to pay for education. We have to pay for counties. So what does it call? We employ what we call austerity measures to make sure that wenda kukata kadogo, huyu kadogo. So instead of sending 22,244, Minister of Finance anakuja anasema nimefinya kila kona. But now I also agree. There are also other things we can do to save. One is wastage.
Actually, that is where we were heading to.
One is wastage.
Yes.
Because as a country, we must also be realistic. That we have all these pressing issues. We cannot afford to waste even a single coin, my dear Teresa. Isn't it? Number two, we have to avoid duplication. And I'm against, and I can announce here in the radio, I'm against, like there's a motion coming to Parliament to make sure that the CDF is entrenched in the Constitution. That money should go directly to schools. True or false?
That's true.
There is also a money as senators, to oversight. To oversight what? If you cannot oversight with the seat you have been given with the money, just quit the seat. We get another senator who will oversight. Okay? Kuna wengine sijui anaitisha even all those hula balloons and karabashis should be broken and all that money be taken to schools to pay foreign debts, and to do that the wastage must be reduced. That is we have to be corruption also has to be tamed. Okay? Those are issues we have to face as a country in reality. So that we see, even if we shall not hit the actual 22, by the way, 22,244 to secondary school is not even enough. Those people, because this money was allocated in 2018, Angonia of maize in 2018, the way it was costing by then, today it has increased. Isn't it? Because we are heading to 2025, 7 years later.
True.
So these people requires almost 30,000 per child. Whatever was there is not even enough. We need more. We are wasting. Our revenue targets cannot meet. We are there demonstrating we don't want finance bill. So we have to come out this as a national debate and come up, and all these pressing issues be pressed until we get a solution.
Well, I want you to tell me otherwise from whatever as a Kenyan I'm thinking. Now this is Tricia as a Kenyan, because I'm looking at education. Education is a basic need.
Yes.
And especially even in our country. Tuache kusema ati the rate of return on investment yenye tuna expect from education, hiyo tukieka kando. This is a basic requirement in our country, and especially primary and secondary. Sawa. So now, when we say that we want to forgo education and say maybe we are talking of development, I think development in our country has its share in the budget, because saizi ukisema tunalipa madeni ambapo as a country kwenda nje, external debts zenye tunafaa tunakopa nje, they are supposed to be for development. Si pesa yenye imeingia kwa mfuko ya mtu. But so far what we are seeing, we are paying for things that we cannot see, we cannot account for. You are paying a debt
for the current expenditure.
Yes, you cannot go and do an external borrowing to come and pay salaries.
Exactly. But that is what we have been doing.
That is a principle in finance. You cannot go and borrow externally. Imagine to come and pay salaries.
Yes.
That's unacceptable.
Yes.
And actually there is also a law in our country. When you're going to borrow outside, it is for development.
It should be development.
So when we say education, we are not going to fund education so that we can do development. I think we are just getting it wrong.
In fact, I like your thinking, Teresa. We cannot borrow to fund the current expenditure. That is crazy idea. But now that is what has been happening, because we have to sustain. Okay, we have to sustain the wage bill. We have to sustain all these austerity measures. We have to sustain the bloated
government payroll. Yeah.
God is good. We have saved the CAS another day, because it was just be bloated wage bill. I'm telling you, even as counties, the duplication effect, whereby I just look at the border between Kirinyaga and Murang'a in Sagana. You see a minister, they even overlap. Mwingine analala county, mwingine analala county, and they are doing the same thing. So that's a big debate that we need to come about and ask ourselves: must we be there? Okay, because these austerity measures, if they have to come before we press here, can we also press other areas? Are we together? So that we don't just borrow to finance recurrent expenditure. But also, that debate should not also run away from us. That also, is it also high time we ask ourselves, how can we? And that is a debate. In fact, in our National Education Dialogue Conference, because we are preparing it, I will be inviting you. One of the things we shall be asking ourselves, it is scratching our heads and asking ourselves, one of the question paper and the term paper we are also releasing to the public to give their input is sustainability of free education in Kenya. To what extent can we do? Because we must also be realistic, Teresa. Because even if we like it or, or fail it, we must be realistic on sustainability. Starting as something is very easy. Yeah. Sustaining it is a different issue altogether. Here we are, 8 years down the line, we are straining.
Some of the measures I think we need to take, because these are probably the measures I would take in my own house, in my own household.
Yes.
If I'm living in a very big 3-bedroom house where I'm paying 70,000 a month and now things are thick, I will either go back to Shago where I'm paying nothing, or I move to a smaller house.
First start a bed sitter, then you go gradually.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can even decide to send children and mali kwingine mali maybe things are cheaper.
Very good.
Then mimi na bibi tungangane hapa Nairobi. So what I'm trying to say is, why are we not doing that as a country?
Yes.
Instead of doing more taxes, I think before we get to do more taxes or impose more levies, there are some things we can start doing now. For instance, we have so many officers in this government, and not just in government but also in county government, that honestly shouldn't be there, in my opinion. Perhaps we need to change some things in the constitution.
Good.
For example,
very good.
Yes, for example, we cut down on the number of counties we have. We have 47 counties. To be honest, I don't see. Maybe in Ukambani region we need to have one county. Such that we don't need one in Makueni, another one in Kitui, and another one in Machakos.
We go back to the provinces.
Let's go back to the provinces. Yes. But we can still maintain calling them counties, so that we can have fewer counties than we have right now. So that all these governors and senators that we are paying, hiyo pesa kidogo reduce. Siko baya, I do not see the position of a woman rep and what it does. But that's a conversation for another time. But if it were me, hiyo pia tutoe. Those are billions we are giving to those people for 5 years, and that money can actually go to the students. It can go to the hospitals and many other sectors that things are not working. So why is it so difficult to do that? And then we can also go and check out the corruption. Yes, all these monies that are going that are being picked up, the 2 billion President Uhuru said inapoteanga kila siku. I'm assuming it's still getting lost. I hope I'm wrong. But if we are losing up to 2 billion on a daily basis, in a year that is over 700 billion, the same 700 billion that is needed in the education.
Good.
And you've mentioned that we need to cut down on wastage, and we need to cut down on the corruption. So why is it so difficult to do that?
I like your conversation, Dennis.
Mbuvi,
sorry.
Why is it so difficult?
I like your conversation because here we have to be realistic, and you have touched a very key thing. Right now, Education Act is undergoing amendment. But I even told another day we had a meeting with the DG, Director General of Ministry of Education. And I told him, even as we do amendment to Education Act, the first document that needs amendment, and it is long overdue, is our Constitution. In fact, for heaven's sake, our Constitution is very good. It's very progressive. We have tested devolution for the last
12 years.
12 years also.
And it has worked
from
very
2010,
well.
From 2010?
From 2013.
Oh yeah, when it became operational.
Yes.
Yeah, became it operational because it is this government, the President Uhuru government that started operationalizing. It's 12 years.
Yes.
For 12 years, we cannot be able to tell where is it biting most. If it is law to amend our own Constitution, okay, so be it. Why should we have duplication of all that and our children are missing out of school because of lack of capitation? Okay? So there is a need for amendment of the existing laws that are already there in place because they are pressing us. Okay? Number 2 is wasted. Now, this thing called corruption, it's another monster. But now, I also throw the ball to the Kenyans. Because as Kenyans, and I said that here another day, we are the one who elect these leaders. So when Bobby comes here and scored all the money in this company, when he goes here, he becomes a hero. When Teresa scored all the money for advertisement and all that from this company, when she goes to her village, she becomes a hero. They elect her in the morning. Do you think she'll stop now that she has gone to the county?
She'll continue.
She'll even escalate it further. Now because it is now not private company like this one, now it's government money. She'll even eat more. Now, another thing is duplication of our functions. Where do we have, minister in the county doing this, another one doing this, the borderline is a pencil line, the same community, you are serving the same people. Okay? Can't we consolidate all that money? And I'm telling you, Buvi, out of money that goes to the county, 80% goes to recurrent expenditure. Can't we reduce the recurrent expenditure? Now we go to more development so that we develop our counties. Okay?
Yeah.
Why do we have a governor here and a governor here, a speaker here, an MC here, an MC, pencil line boundaries? And it's time we are also doing boundary reviews. Is it a conversation that we need to bring on board?
Sure.
Also something else, wastage. Okay? Unnecessary expenditure going here and there, mandazis all over in government offices. There are no austerity measures. So it is a debate that does not only affect education docket, and it is good, and that is why I said Buddy did very well, because he started this debate. And this debate, I would pray it doesn't stop now, because you see that we have also another problem, Buvi and Treasure in Kenya. We start a debate, within 3 days we debate, then it fizzles out. Have we achieved anything?
Nothing.
Because we shall come make noise in the public barazas. Unasikia huyu ameenda huko mazishi, hapana, we want education to continue. Mwingine ameenda na huku, we want this to continue. That is not a conversation. That is heckling to me. Isn't it? A conversation is whereby now we say, now this is where we are. Can we have a conclave? Not the one proposed by Baba, but
one that actually talks about what we need to change in the
constitution.
Need to change.
But even if there's that proposed by Baba, so be it. If it is the one that will cure and heal us, isn't it? We need that conclave. We sit down, we cruise, and then there is something else. We were talking. We have a very big WhatsApp group of Wadawa Erimu Kenya. We have senior people in that group. I respect them so much. Some of them are even ministers and PS in the same group. Educationists. Follow more Kenya. We have a very big WhatsApp group. And we were talking yesterday. We have been talking since that debate started in our WhatsApp group. And we were asking, the problem we also have, Africans, we have a conservative thinking mind. Conservative thinking mind meaning that we have just to think within a certain parameter. And somebody challenged us in the group that if you want to break the ice of free education in Kenya, we must think wild. It's called wild thinking or liberal thinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
We must think out. In fact, our governor, I like Governor Kimemia, former head of public service, he used to tell us, I don't even want you to think outside the box. Just throw away the box and think.
Yeah. Remove the borders.
Remove the borders. Think. So that the things you are saying today may not make sense now. But tomorrow, whatever you are saying, somebody will just go and post and say, hey, Buvi said something. Teresa said something. Can we try it? Can we implement it? Okay? It is after we agree that we have to think outside the borders. Crazy ideas. Singapore and those, advanced countries had to think wildly. Okay? When you Google, you'll find something called Eurotunnel. There is a tunnel in Europe that connects London and Paris.
The speed train.
The speed train that goes beneath the sea.
The sea, yeah.
The Atlantic Ocean. When that idea came, 1985, because that's when I think it was proposed. By then it was Margaret Thatcher. I think she was the Prime Minister of England. England. She was opposed to it.
Okay.
Because it looked crazy,
absurd.
It's something that cannot be done. But a group of, it took her a lot of, conviction from experts. She had to wait for 1 year to approve it, another year to approve it. And finally, even when she approved it, she said, I approve it, but shingo upande. But today, it's one of the magnificent, architectural and engineering design ever witnessed in this country, in this world.
In this world, yeah.
So what we are saying is this: we have to think beyond. Do we even say we change the system of governance? So be it. Isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
For example, why do we have a governor and a deputy who's just idle?
Exactly.
Why not give the deputy
some ministerial docket
yes.
to be running? We reduce the number of ministers.
Yes.
If it is the governance that is this civil service that is so bloated, the public service so bloated. Mtu anaingia tu kwa ofisi anasoma gazeti dakika 5 anatoka.
Na motorcade.
Na alafu kesho atakuja tena sign voucher aende sijui wapi. Do we have a bloated civil service? Must it be the government that should employ? So those are the conversation we need to come up and think wildly so that we are able to break this ice. Sindio? Yes. Who hakuenda? Just look at the narrative. Who hakuenda university? In fact, that child, the amount of money she has taken to train to acquire a degree. Because right now, maybe to do a medicine or whatever, those technical engineering courses,
yes,
ilikuwa almost $1 million plus. In fact, ilikuja pesa ngapi? Sijui 500 times 4, 2 million. So the parent have pumped 2 million to train that child, okay?
Yes.
To be an engineer. Amekosa kazi. Ameandikwa na jua kali artisan. Hapa Grogon.
Agonge
masufuria. Na wewe kumtrain kutengeneza hizo sufuria, alipelekwa Mirangine Village Polytechnic, akalipiwa 50,000 akatoka. So where is the value for investment? Na huyu ameandika huyu. Haya, come to this company. This is smart design. This studio is very smart. Maybe the person who did this thing, maybe, I'm just saying maybe.
Yeah, it's a maybe.
Maybe that person came from another polytechnic here in Utawala. Na mwenye aliandika hapa, ataandika mtu hapa na amulipe wa degree. So where are we getting the investment, my friend? Where should we pump our more money?
Thank you so much.
So CBE, as I conclude, CBE is very progressive because it is giving technical skills. What are you good at? You are good in music, can we advance in that? What are we good at? Are you good in technical, can we advance in that?
Okay.
Are you good in sports, can we advance in that? Other than wasting a lot of money training you, and eventually you will not give value to this country. That person who is artisan, he is paying more revenue than this degree holder with the papers, knocking one door after the other, looking for a job. It is time over for white collar job. Okay?
We think blue collar.
We need blue collar job. We improve our economy, and then we have an entire dialogue on all those issues. We shall going to break the ice.
Thank you so much. That is Ndungu Wangenye. He's the National Secretary of Kethawa and an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. That's all the time we had. We're getting into the news with Winnie Maganga. When we do return, looking at some of your feedback coming from Facebook, Twitter, na huko kwingine kote. So if you haven't sent, please do. Right now, though, let's get into the news.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. President William Ruto has arrived in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia for the second UN Food System Summit stocktake. The president was received by Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Tirune. Ruto also held talks with Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, where discussions focused on bilateral relations as well as regional issues of mutual interest. At the summit, the president will deliver Kenya's national statement, reaffirming the country's commitment to transforming food systems to support sustainable development and enhance climate resilience. In a statement on Sunday, State House spokesperson Hussein Mohammed said the president will also engage in a series of high-level thematic meetings with global leaders. Kenya's education system has undergone a major transformation over the last 2 years, achieving several milestones, says Deputy President Kithure Kindiki. The DP gave a detailed state of the education reforms, outlining 7 key milestones achieved by the government, saying Kenya's education system is on a historic upward trajectory. Kindiki has first said that the long-standing challenges in the competency-based curriculum have been addressed. Kindiki's remarks come at a time when confusion over the government's education capitation strategy has sparked criticism from opposition leaders and education stakeholders.
We cannot afford in this time in history to roll back the tremendous progress that our nation has made to make education accessible and affordable, especially at primary and secondary level. We cannot roll back those gains, and I want to assure you we will make all the necessary interventions to make sure that our education remains affordable, accessible, relevant, and of high quality. Kennedy
Kalombo told the prime suspect in 2 murders at Kenyatta National Hospital remains stranded at Mbagathi Hospital days after court ordered his admission for medical evaluation. The hospital says it cannot comply with the court directive, citing a lack of bed space and concerns over the suspect's security and mental health status. Colombo Tole, who was to be held at Mbagathi Hospital for 10 days under medical observation, is instead spending his nights handcuffed under guard in the hospital's casualty and emergency wing. Mbagathi Hospital CEO Dr. Alex Irungu confirmed the facility is currently operating at full capacity. The suspect lawyer told the media that the delay in offering medical treatment is worsening his condition.
At Malindi Mental Hospital, but mainly the reason why we are preferring to have this patient taken to Malindi Referral Hospital is because by the nature of this patient is under guard.
Police in Molo, Nakuru County are investigating a case where a 16-year-old boy confessed to murdering his mother inside their home in Nyakiambi area. According to a police report filed at Elbagon Police Station, the chilling discovery was made on Sunday after the deceased brother alerted officers claiming his sister had been killed inside her house. Law enforcement officers from Elbagon and detectives from Molo Directorate of Criminal Investigations swiftly responded to the distress call. Upon arrival, they found the lifeless body of a middle-aged woman sprawled inside her residence.
Tukakuta nyumba mchana siku mbili ilikuwa imefungwa na nje na kufuri. Sasa tukakuta imefungwa na ndani. Wakasema inawezaje kuwa kumefungwa siku mbili nje na sasa kumefungwa. Kwa hivyo kuna mtu ndani. Wakapiga teke, mlango ikavunjika. Tukaingia kuangalia, tunakuta maiti chini. Ndio sasa venye askari walikuja wakatoa maiti na wakatoa huyo kijana alikuwa amejifanya amekufa. Hata hawakuwa wanasema ako, wakamtoa akachapwa akasema, akaulizwa ulikuwa unamuua mama kwa nini? Alikataa kuniambia baba yangu. Unauliza baba wa nini? Nataka niridhi. Uridhi nini? Mali.
Oscar Piastri passed McLaren teammate Lando Norris on the first racing lap of a wet, dry Belgian Grand Prix to take his 6th victory of the year and extend his championship lead. The Australian swept past Norris as the race started after an hour-and-a-half delay for heavy rains and 2 laps behind the safety car and controlled the race from there. Norris's side of the McLaren team chose a divergent tyre strategy when the drivers spitted to switch to sleek, dry weather tires as the track dried. His impressive win moves him 16 points clear in the championship, heading to the Hungarian Grand Prix next weekend. That's the Truth on Radio Generation. Good morning. I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed, it is 88.8 FM in Nairobi. This is Radio Generation, and my name is Mungala Mbuvi. We are the home of hard truths and bold insights. We're also known as the People's Breakfast.
Yes, and this is where you get all the hard truth and bold insights. My name is Trisha Wayu, and of course, we tell you that if you want to get these conversations that are so critical, that are so important in shaping opinions in our country, then you can only find them here at Radio Generation.
Now, in studio, we do have 2 individuals. We're going to be talking about the cost of power. And when we say power, we mean your electricity bill. But before we do get into that conversation, allow me to say a big shout out to Captain Studios on YouTube. Na amesema kitu, he was responding to the previous hour.
Yes.
Amesema kututoza ushuru si shida. The problem we have is high reflect kwa ground manze. Na ameka broken heart emojis.
Yeah.
And
basically
that
is what you are saying, like kama tunakatwa taxes, we just want to see an equivalent an equivalent of service being delivered to the citizens of the country, because tunatoa tax ndio tuweze kupewa huduma, so it's quite important.
Speaking of huduma, kuna huduma ya power, ya Kenya Power, ya electricity, ya umeme. Tungependa kuzungumzia leo. So the topic we're going to be discussing today is the cost of power and why Warma charges should be scrapped off the electricity bill. Or should they remain? It's a question that we're going to definitely discuss in studio. So to have this conversation with us, we do have Engineer Isaac Ndereva. He is the Executive Director of ELCOS, an advocate and billing expert. Also, we do have Engineer John Chomba. He is an independent energy expert. So, gentlemen, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
This is Radio Generation, yes.
Thank you very much, Radio Generation. ELCOS is Electricity Consumers Society of Kenya. That all electricity consumers have a society. And so I'm the executive director, and I advocate for their rights, especially in pricing. So that's my job, and I'm also a billing expert in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I train on different countries' bills. I have worked with the UN, and that's where I was exposed to such bills, and I became more critical about the Kenyan bill because it's a bit funny. It has many components.
So you're able to tell us a bit about the bills in, say, a country like Tanzania, Uganda. So we will get into that as well. All right. So welcome so much. That is Engineer Isaac Ndereva. Engineer John Chomba.
Yes.
Karibu tena sana Radio Generation.
Thank you, Radio Generation. My name is Engineer John Chomba. I'm an energy expert. My work is to analyze energy generation, energy installation. And I offer expertise to several institutions. One of them is ELCOS. And many others.
Yes. Nice.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And this is Patricia Waiwa. My name is Mungala Mbuvi. Karibuni sana.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So let's get right into it, and I'll start with you, Engineer Isaac. Our electricity bill. I usually, like for example, I think kuna siku nimenunua tokens za 500. And I got 19 units. Why is that so? And someone would expect, back in the day, a few years ago, 500 ilikuwa inanipatia units mingi sana. So why are we experiencing this issue?
Now, because we keep on educating Kenyans about these things, and funny enough is that even the most elite people, individuals, will not understand what is happening. But a Kenya Power Bill has 8 components. Those 8 components, it's only one component that is important to you. And as I have looked at different other bills from different countries around East Africa, you'll only realize that they look at maybe 2 or 3 of those components. Maybe VAT and perhaps income tax or something. Even in Zambia, they don't go beyond. And it's a developed country, we would say. Kenya has 8. Why? Because you have the money that goes to Kenya Power. It's called the token amount. Then you have fuel cost charge. You are charged separately for the power that is generated using diesel generators, specifically and mostly in Mombasa. Then you
Mombasa, they use diesel?
Yes, because transporting or transferring all this power from Orkaria, we don't have a strong grid. As a result, and that's why we've been making noise, because instead of Adani or whoever, or Kenya 50, who is now currently there because we cancelled the Adani deal, instead of them doing that line from Isinya to Rabai or Mariakani, they are prioritizing Chemosit. So as a result, we are using a lot of, most of the diesel charges that we are getting as a result of coast region.
So for me to understand, are you saying that we use diesel to boost the energy, or are we saying that in Mombasa and the coastal region they mostly use diesel to
not
generate
mostly, specifically use diesel
to generate
power? Because there is no any other means of generating power in Mombasa other than diesel. And we had 4 plants. We had Kipevu 1, Kipevu 2, Kipevu 3, and Rabai. Now we closed down Kipevu 1 and Kipevu 2. So we have Kipevu 3 and Rabai currently. If you look at their generation, they are doing quite a bit of the generation. And so that is why we are paying 3 shillings in our bills, because of their generation. We have to share as a country.
I think I need to go back to school, because with the last I checked, in Kenya specifically, we don't use diesel anywhere.
We use diesel.
As far as my education is concerned. So now you're telling me that in the coastal area, we are using diesel to generate. So every time I'm in coast charging my phone, using the fan in the hotels, that is actually diesel.
Let me tell you what is funny. People are using electric vehicles.
Yes.
In the coast region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are using electric. Specifically, let me give you an example because we are allowed to quote examples. Vipingo Ridge is a very good resort.
Yes.
It's an 18 golf course resort.
Yes.
And they normally charge their golf
carts. Yes.
Their golf carts.
Yeah.
Using electricity, so that they don't spoil the environment. But they have forgotten that in generation it used diesel.
Actually, it's because they are not aware.
They are not aware.
They are not aware. They have not been made aware.
They think they are going green, but they were black in the first place.
In fact,
it's like painting green.
Personally, I've been looking at the bills.
Yes.
I happen to have been receiving some bills for a specific company.
Yes.
And then now you see the breakdown.
Yes.
Whatever they are talking about, you're paying for fuel. La sasa unasema you're using electricity, but you're paying fuel.
Yes.
You're also paying something to do with, is it warma? What is warma?
In fact, let me go slowly because before I give my friend here. Now, after you come from that fuel cost charge, most of the people thought is the fuel used by people using bikes to go and read meters. No, is the amount of money used in a diesel generation. Okay, because we don't have enough sources, renewable sources, according to the people who are in charge of generation and maybe the ministry, I would say. From there, from forex fuel cost charge, you come to forex. Of course, we assist the government to procure the dollar because we have to pay most of the independent power producers using dollar, and some of them is Rabai. Okay, for KenGen we are using Kenya shillings, but for them, like independent power producers, that is even people called Or Power, like Turkana, we use euros and all that. Okay, so there is fuel forex charge.
Okay,
then you come to inflation. That is the fourth. We say
inflation adjustment.
Inflation adjustment. That
Right.
we have no much complaint because it comes from the central bank.
Okay.
And then we have EPRA. We normally pay Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority.
Okay.
8 cents.
From our bill.
From our bill. In fact, I thought we should even be allowed to elect the Director General. Because
I'm
paying him. You have an input.
I'm paying him.
You are paying him.
Yes.
And it's a government that is appointing him. Then the government should fund.
Okay.
Then from there we have a rural electrification program. We normally get 5% of your bill to go and connect the countryside, those people who are very far from
power.
From power.
Yet my grandmother died without electricity.
Without electricity. You had actually paid for that money. But that money, you know what happens? About 3 billion per month, you cannot tell where it goes. Now, then let's talk about
3 billion per what?
3 billion per month. And there is no more purchase of transformer. So that money, in fact, it's supposed to, let me even talk of, it's supposed to be given to REREC. Rural is called renewable, it's called what? REREC.
Rural
Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation.
Yes.
Ask how much money gets into their accounts. REREC. Yet we collect about 3 billion.
For them every single month?
Every single month. Now, that's 5% of the bill.
Okay.
Okay. Then I've talked about, then let me come to WARMA. WARMA is Water Resource Management Authority.
Okay.
Okay. Then lastly, there is VAT, Value Added Tax. Those are 8 components. Now, if you look at what is in your bill, and most of them keep on varying every month, so it's very confusing. But let me give my colleague just something.
Well, I would like to understand, by the way, the production of power mpaka ikuje kutufikia, the procedures, because I tend to understand that is where now these other costs are coming from. Maybe you can just give us that
start
breakdown.
with that warma before you give us the breakdown, because I think people need to understand why we are paying warma.
First of all, I want to say those other costs don't come because of distribution.
Okay.
Like now you look at the VAT, goes to the government. If you look at inflation, still goes to the government. Kenya Power is just a pass-through institution. They collect the money on the behalf of the government. So what happens? Kenya Power collects all the money and it's taken to the treasury. You have heard my friend talks about, you need to ask ourselves how much money goes to REREC. You realize it's around 30%. The rest is taken to the treasury. From there, you cannot tell what happens to the money. And it's not just the issue with REREC.
I like that you're saying from there you don't know what
We don't know. And it's not just that.
Yeah.
Even other institutions like Kinita, yes, the government collects money, puts it in the treasury. You get?
Yeah.
So that is what happens.
But for WARMA, actually, it's interesting that WARMA is... let me explain what WARMA is.
Okay.
Water Resource Management Authority. Then ask me, why does it collect money? there's no reason.
I thought it's because of geothermal.
No.
Hydroelectrical, whatever.
Geothermal, no. At least geothermal is not water.
Okay.
If you boil water, it doesn't become the water now.
All right.
But now what happens? Let me talk specifically about the Seven Forks. And Seven Forks dams, that is Masinga, Kiambere, Gitaru, Kamburu, those people.
Yeah.
Now, first of all,
And there are 5 dams.
there are 5 dams. It's only that the 7 Forks is the 7 tributaries that feed.
Zinaka kama Forks
Yeah,
hapa.
yeah.
Yes.
You know, there are people who think they are 7
They're
actually
dams,
5.
and the 2 are to be developed. Yeah, Karemenu is not part of it. So now what happens is that the dam, like Masinga, is owned by Tarda. That is Tana River Development Authority.
Okay.
The rest of the 4 is owned by Kengen. So now, if Warma collects money, it cannot maintain those dams. Okay? It doesn't maintain those dams. It is supposed to maintain the catchment. Okay? Now, what is catchment as far as Seven Forks is concerned? Is the bigger Mount Kenya, I think Aberdare and Mount Kenya.
So we're talking about the forest and the highlands.
The forest. Now, they are supposed to maintain catchment to make sure that they are maintaining the trees, they are protecting the trees that will allow water to find way into the dams.
Yes.
Now, what is maintaining? It is not buying fertilizer. Okay? It is maintaining before you reach to where the dams are.
Right.
Now, those are lands that are owned by individuals growing rice. Can they do anything on that land?
No, they can't.
So when they collect this money, there is nothing they do. You know what is interesting?
Yeah.
They were collecting 2 cents per kilowatt hour. How much are they collecting?
They want to collect a shilling.
They want to collect a shilling. From 5 cents to 100 cents. Yet even the 5 cents, we do not know how much.
Where they are taking it.
Yes, they were actually collecting 5 cents. They have taken it to 100 cents. And that was gazetted. I know they are supposed to be pushing even EPRA to effect that on the bill, which we cannot agree. In fact, EPRA should understand. We will go to court. And once we go to court, first, we are going on the basis of there was no public participation. Because, tell me, Tricia, did you find anybody asking you how much Waruma should charge?
No.
Because that is what is public participation. Did they even make you understand why they didn't increase? They needed to have come and to tell you how much are we charging and what have we done, and we are having this deficit, so we need to increase. You don't even know they exist in your bill.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress, but maybe you have an opinion.
No, yeah. I mean, karibu sana tena John Chomba.
Thank you very much. And I want to pick from where my friend has said. It's good to put the whole increase in perspective of money, because they're increasing from 500 million to more than 1 billion. That is the kind of money they are targeting.
In fact, I calculated they were supposed to be collecting between 15 million to 20 million per month. That is what they collect today.
Yes.
Okay. Now they want to collect around 350 to 400 million per month. Have you seen that?
Yes.
15 to 20. Let's pick the upper side. 20 million.
Right.
They want to go to 400 million. To do what? Every month. I mean, they also are not serious.
Actually, there's something you said, Isaac, early on, and you said that we are giving 3 billion every month.
Yes.
This is monthly to REREC.
Yes.
For the last mile electrification.
Yes.
I don't know if you have any figures or statistics, but just how much have we achieved as far as connectivity is concerned?
We have, so far we are on 77% of the country's connectivity. And that is where the Mwananchi is being taken advantage, because in 2013, the connectivity was 25%. Then there was a drive, and through the, it's called the development goals.
Yes, the SDGs.
The sustainable development goals. There is that drive for universal connectivity to all of them. So there was a lot of also funding by World Bank and by IMF. And so Kenya Power got a lot of money for that extension.
Right.
So they were able to do much. But as a result, there is now a 50% increase of individuals who are not aware of what is this new product. So the government took advantage, and it kept on pushing too many levies and taxes on the bill. And that's why we are where we are. And we are on 77% connectivity.
Yeah.
But the government has noted that it can actually collect a lot of money through that, because nobody is asking a question. Because why? The Mwananchi is not informed.
The second question of that, part of that question rather, is you also said that we are not getting any new transformers or buying new transformers. What do you mean by that?
What we are not, what we did, there is a year year we did not procure any transformers because the procurement had been freezed by the Kenya Power's investigation through the Ngumi report and the task force that was being done.
Okay.
But last, I think it was about 3 months ago, Kenya Power floated a tender to supply 3,319 transformers.
Okay.
So my question was, so why are they procuring too many after not procuring for almost 2 years? So where was this REREC money or RIP money going? Because there was nothing that was being done.
And also, so does that mean that Kenyans at that particular, those 2 years that we were not purchasing transformers, could not only giza because of lack of transport?
No, it's new connectivity. If you are connected.
That is for new connectivity. Okay, so now I understand.
And what else? And damages. You know, there were existing transformers.
Yes, in
Kilipuka, maybe you need a new one. So even now they are repairing. For you to, once your transformer around your area is burnt, the average time to get a new one or connectivity is 2 months.
Well, I also want to understand the work that the IPPs do in terms of when we talk of this contribution that you are giving to RELEC.
Yes.
So I want to see maybe what is the contribution that these IPPs do to the government also.
Okay, independent power producers are people who were allowed to come and invest because the government and Kenyan would not invest enough as per the demand. You understand that we connected from 25% to 50%. Now, that was a lot of demand. Okay?
Yeah.
So the government could not fund that. So they called the independent power producers to come and fund, and then you charge us.
Yes.
Okay? Now, the problem is that they came in and they charged us based on the currency that they wanted, which is some of them euros and dollars. And in fact, some of them even started during Kibaki's time, because he could already find the demand. There was an advantage to that. But now the ones that were signed in later on came with some deals that were not very clean.
Yes. So another question about the IPPs. I want to understand, because you realize, are they not using resources that are from the country? And I see most of them are international organizations. They are companies from outside. Yes. And that is the reason why they are charging us using their currency, the currency from their place. So I want to understand, that is why we keep on saying that Africa has resources. As Kenya, we have resources. Those water catchment areas where these people wameenda wameka hizo nini zao. See, those are resources that belongs to Kenyans.
Yeah.
Yes.
The challenge is the technology of converting that resource into energy. For example, like Turkana, we have wind.
Yes.
But now the investment of how to make wind produce power is where Kenyans did not manage. So they had to bring the company. What is the company operating there? Like Turkana wind turbine.
Currently is BlackRock.
It's BlackRock.
Yes.
So you see, when they come, they take loans to develop that project in their foreign currency. And so they say we cannot depend on the Kenya shilling. So you be paying us using the our own currency, which is maybe euro or US dollar.
So they come, let's even take a random country. They come from Germany.
Yes.
Then they come here and they say, we want to now to make these wind turbines for you, or rather install them. So they go back to Germany, borrow money from their banks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then they come here. Then us now, we have to find a forex.
Yes.
To convert Kenyan money to euros.
Yes.
Ndio tuwalipe.
Yes. That is exactly what they do. Now, you can imagine how much money we are paying. There's a company that did their project when the Kenya shillings was converting to dollar at 72 shillings. Right now is 130.
Yes.
That difference, we are the ones.
It's almost double, actually.
It's almost double.
So we have to keep on paying that forex.
And something else which we also need to note.
Yeah.
There is also what is known worldwide.
Yes.
That is, this is the cost of generation for geothermal. This is the cost of generation for hydro, like that. You realize that the cost of generation, let's say for instance for geothermal, is around 7 US cents.
Right.
You realize in Kenya it's double that.
Yeah.
It's double that.
In some of the plants.
In some of the plants.
In fact, the best thing is to say, if, like for example, look here, we have Orkaria geothermal.
Yes.
By Kenyan. We have Orkaria 1, 2, 3. Orkaria 1 right now is shut down. They want to upgrade, but we have 1, 2, 3, and in fact up to Orkaria 4, and we have several units, including Orkaria 1 has even unit 6,
right,
which is very progressive. The cost, we have a neighboring company called Oro Power. Ask whether they charge the same. They sell power to Kenya Power at the same cost. No, you will find most likely Oro Power is about 3 times of what is being sold by Kengen. Why? Because they are private individuals. It's not a government thing. So they can be able to strike deals within.
Yes. So because I'm worried about even if we say now Kengen selling Kenya Power, selling power to Kenya Power.
Yes.
I want to consider the fact that these IPPs are the ones who are making also this power to be expensive.
Yes, of course, because once you have start paying forex, and then they have cut deals or they are selling power unfairly, that is loaded to the consumer. Yeah. So they are of course making them expensive. But the worst are the independent power producers using diesel. Because you remember, diesel itself is a lot of money.
Okay.
Sure.
And some of them, in fact, even if you look at the Auditor General's report last year but one, she said that the money that was justifiably required to be charged to consumers, they were charged more. And in fact, there is some analysis on the headlines that said they had actually taken about 70 billion Kenya shillings over and above what they should have charged.
Okay.
And nobody disputed that, not the Auditor General. So that is where the real theft is. In fact, we went as high as paying 8.2 shillings per kilowatt hour on fuel cost charge in March of 2023 when we sworn in the new government. And that was the height of impunity at that time.
I have a question here, and I'm holding a bill here.
Yes.
Hii nilo nanunua ya token from Kenya Power.
Yes.
So of course there's the meter number up there, then there's the token, the code for putting in, then there's the date, then there are the units.
Yes.
So this person bought token worth 1,200 shillings.
Yes.
The units that he received 41.9.
Yes.
Then pale chini kuna token amount inasema 798. So let me round it off to about 800.
Yes.
So you want to tell me that 400 shillings?
What have they written about the difference? They have said others.
Inasema other charges.
Good.
401.
Now, those other charges is where theft is.
So wait
because those are 7 other components.
Yes. So I spent 1,200 shillings to buy power.
Yes.
400.
Yes.
Serikali inachukua tu ifanye kinye nataka.
Yes.
So mimi na si ningetumia tu 800.
You see now, of course the VAT you have to pay.
Yeah.
But then I have a problem even where the fuel cost that was going to the generation plant had been charged VAT already.
Okay.
But when it comes here again, you are charged another VAT.
Double taxation.
But now, even on this Warma thing, in fact, that is where the problem is.
Right.
Warma, because they are the ones who are pushing for that to be effected on our bills, which is I don't know what is 5 cents to 100 cents. What increase is that? Must be 1,000%.
That is 95%.
No, it is not 95%.
That's 200.
We are talking about. Let me calculate for you. This is 100 cents minus 5 cents.
Okay.
So it is this 95 divided by 5.
It's almost 1,000.
It's 1,900%. 1,900% increase. That is the truth. Now we are asking. So they want to increase from 15 or 20 million to 400 million. Have you, as Tricia, have you known why Warma collect money? Have you seen them? It's good to say, yes, I have seen a Nairobi City Council or something. I have seen I have seen who. I don't know who collects your money, but you normally see them at least. Even there are people. But now Warma, remember, they even charge on the abstraction of that water. But now, my issue was, imagine, let me sell to you water. Namutungi. Once I sell you water, you use it to wash clothes.
Yes.
Okay? So you have finished. Now, you want to go and flush in your toilet. I come again. I charge you. Is that fair?
It's not fair.
Why it is not fair for Warma, we get water through Masinga. They charge us per kilowatt hour. Then that water is discharged. It goes to the next dam, Kindaruma. We are again charged. It goes to Kamburu. We are again charged. It goes to Kiambere. We are again charged. All the dams. And then eventually we don't drink the water at Kiambere. It goes to the river. So why are we charged that water? Now tell me, why should Warma be in our bills? It is better if we eventually take the water and drink it. Yes.
Even this catchment they talk about, they maintain. It's maintained by Kengen.
No, in fact, the dams are maintained by Kenyan, but the catchment is natural because it is land owned by people to plant rice, and the rest is in the forest. Have you ever seen Warma buy fertilizer or trees to go and plant?
How much money monthly do Kenyans pay to Warma?
Warma is just easy because I will say, first of all the units consumed by Kenyans is an average of 1 billion.
Okay.
Right. 1 billion. Now Warma pays for example 0.0174.
Okay.
I need to increase this. Okay, 17.4 million.
Yes.
Per month. Now they want to increase this. You see, that is 17.4. That's why I said between 15 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah, every month. Now tell me, and that is not the only money they collect, by the way. They also collect water through the water companies.
Okay.
Like Nairobi Water. If you abstract water, there is some amount you are supposed to pay. Okay?
Right.
So the different other charges. But for the bill, that one we don't drink the water. The water only passes to run the turbine. Once we have paid at the most upstream dam, by the end of the discharge of Kiambere, that water should be taken to consumers to drink it. But if it is released into the rivers, in fact, we shouldn't pay for that water.
So basically,
it should be dismantled.
What we are saying is that tunapatianga Warma pesa ya macho.
Yes. And they don't maintain. Ask them, they are all in the dams. Let me tell you what we expect as Kenyans for Warma to do in that area. They are supposed to plant trees in the forest in Mount Kenya. They are supposed to plant trees in Abadeas, where the rivers come from, so that trees can reduce the evaporation of the rainwater, so that doesn't go up, so that it percolates through the rivers.
So then, what is the purpose of the Kenya Forest Service?
Them is maybe to just... In fact, that is the role. Kenya Forest Service is doing the role of Warma. But we are not even saying we need Warma to do anything. There is nothing. These trees are ours.
You guys.
Yes? No, it is not us. It is Warma. I don't know whether...
Yes, it's true. And from even analysis of the money collected, as we have said earlier, most of it doesn't even go to Warma. It ends up in treasury.
Okay.
So when we hear that Warma want to increase, we are worried. And we are really worried that this money may not even really go to Warma.
Now, there is something more interesting. EPRA, we have been paying EPRA, Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. We've been paying them 3 cents.
Okay.
Warma was 5 cents. Okay? 3 cents, 5 cents. EPRA took their money to 8 cents. That was a bit, we complained it was about 190% increase. But after all, we said they need to increase their operations because they are also having other mandate that they are doing, like energy efficiency, and there is a big reach. And we of course know they have very few employees.
Right.
Now, if they went to 0.08 shillings or 8 cents from 0.03, which is 3 cents, why would Warma shamelessly come from 0.05 or 5 cents to 100 cents, which is 1 shilling? For what reason? What are they doing? But then, do you know anybody who is employed by Warma? Maybe they are assisting your relatives or something.
I don't know.
I don't.
Or have you seen Warma bus going somewhere?
Can I just challenge them? If you're listening to us and you work at Warma, or you're the director general of Warma, please just find us. Call us. We need to understand what's going on in that particular situation. But let me ask you something.
And also let them come with a budget with how they use what they do
with that money.
And the project which they have funded, the money they have received.
Can I do a simple Google search?
You can.
And just see what Warma does, because maybe kuna kitu atuelewi juu hii Warma yetu hii.
There is nothing.
And in addition to that, they get funding from international bodies.
For why?
To take fertilizers to trees and all that. I'm joking, but that is what we should expect.
Their main work is regulation.
Yes.
So they even have an e-citizen portal.
Yes. So that you can take your complaints there in case you don't have water.
Anyway, as we get into that,
yes.
I want to understand, maybe if we compare our bills to those ones of our neighbors like in Tanzania and Uganda, in terms of power, are ours better or worse, or are we the same? Yes.
Prices. Prices currently I think it's only Rwanda that has overtaken us a little bit.
In terms of
the
high prices,
the unit kilowatt hour, unit per kilowatt hour, or shillings per kilowatt hour, or shillings per unit. So, but Kenya, remember Kenya has right now is 93% of clean energy. Clean energy means you're using hydro, you're using solar, geothermal, and wind. Wind. So diesel are only coming in about 7% currently. We have been at 12% around 2020. So we are improving. But we are not improving because of anything. We are improving because we are increasing these other sources. So by default, the diesel keeps it looks like it is shrinking, but it's because of increasing the denominator by using other sources. Otherwise, what we are doing in Mombasa has been constantly up.
Okay.
So the generation for Bairabai and Kipevudri is up and has been high. Okay. Yeah.
Before you leave that of where we are in respect to our neighbors, you need to understand Kenya is the second highest, most expensive electricity in Africa.
In Africa.
Yes, after Cape Verde.
Yes, and it is becoming more expensive because let me mention something which people may not understand, why Kenya Power is also a bit cheeky. One, when you say the cost of power is expensive in Kenya, they will tell you no, but you are only paying 12 shillings. But you see that 12 shillings, that is the lowest. You know, they quote the lowest consumer, which is 12. There are even others who are paying 21 shillings.
Okay.
21. But then add another 15 shillings for these other levies. And that's why you see currently the cost of power is, I think, 30 shillings to most of the consumers.
Okay.
Okay. So when you ask Kenya Power, they will say we are not the highest because they will quote you without the levies. But if you add the levies, that is what keeps on increasing. Number two, most of these costs like forex and fuel cost charge keep on increasing monthly. So there is no any time you will say Kenya is the highest or is number two.
Okay.
It is very fluid. Number three, you can only talk about one tariff. Now, for you to lock one tariff that I want to talk about this tariff and compare it with the other tariff in another country. Those other countries do not have many tariffs.
Okay.
Ni Kenyans that have, if you find the domestic consumers, wako na ule anatumia not beyond 30, mwingine anatumia between 30 to 100, mwingine between above 100. That is how we have been clustered. Two, you will never sit down together to discuss because this month you are in this cluster, the next month you are in a different. So you cannot have a meeting of those people who consume less than 30 because the next time you will be in a different one.
Okay, actually that was the question that I wanted to ask about. Why is it that for domestic consumption the tariff, the rate is high compared to the commercial ones?
Well, they are normally, first of all, let me say, there are three categories. There is a first category which is actually cheap, but it is because it has been subsidized by the government. Okay? There is the first one that is cheap. Then the next one, which is moderately cheap, but it has still been subsidized. Now, the actual cost of power, according to Kenya Power, is supposed to be around 21 shillings.
21 shillings.
21.
Yes.
Now, your question was,
why is it that for domestic users,
yes, or it is more expensive?
The rate is it's more expensive than the commercial ones.
Okay, so the reason is in you trying to take power to the domestic users, you know, economically, you have used your infrastructure, which is expensive. You take power to someone who is supposed to pay 1,000 per month. You see, paying back this infrastructure is going to be quite a bit. But you take it to someone like in Vipingo. It's called Mombasa Cement Vipingo. They are consuming around 200 million per month.
Okay.
You see now the infrastructure will be paid very fast. So by default, you will make that person to pay cheaper because they are also assisting you to recover your money faster.
There is also a deposit the commercial people do.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a deposit they put there, which also help in assisting in
installation
of the infrastructure.
Well, I also still wonder why is it that this month I pengine nimetumia stima ya 1000 shillings. Sawa. So next month if I use stima ya 2000. Nikikuja that following month. Unapata ile rate nimetoka katika ile tariff yenye nilikuwa nalipa, saizi nimepandishwa. So why do they have to change those tariffs?
Thank you.
Because the consumption is just like I'm a domestic. Tayari it has been catered for in the high cost. So why do you have to change it again to now unataka kunilipishia stima more than like I should pay?
Now, Tricia, thank you. And I think that is a question that during public participation by Kenya Power, when they were raising the cost, by the way, they are supposed to raise the cost or reduce next year. It's another year that we have to fight with them. Now, what happens is they say, when you consume your power for like less than 30 units per month for 3 months, you get the average. They normally do the average after every 3 months. And then, ukianza ku consume, like for example, let me give you an example. When you consume 95, 92, 85, those are 3 months.
Yes.
You are below 100. You will be used, they will base your cost on the between 30 to 100. Then the following month, you consume 101, 98, 97. The average is still slightly less than 100. They are going to base that.
Yes.
But now if you go to 98, 105, 110, the average goes to around 103.
Over 100, yes.
So you will be taken to the next band. That is the challenge. Now, why I don't agree with them is because they should be telling you how much you consumed every month, regardless of how erratic you have bought your token, so that you can make a decision that, hey, because I am likely to be taken to the next tariff, let me even shut off the fridge for these 2 days, mwezi iruke, so that I remain in this tariff. But unfortunately, so that at least you know you are going to get yourself into a certain bracket of consumption for the next 3 months. But now they don't tell you. So as a result, hata ukirukishwa hiyo band ingine, you have no idea, you don't even know whether you are justified to be in the tariff that you are in. You do not know, you cannot confirm. They need to be even sending messages to tell you thank you for purchasing token, you have gotten these tokens. So far the cumulative token for the month is this. The average, the current running average is this one. So then you know that what will I do so that I don't jump to this tariff? Yes, because
you had indicated that in other countries, especially in Africa, they do not have, they just have a blanket tariff. Yes, they do not indicated that.
I had indicated that if it is domestic, most of them have got domestic. If it is industry, it's industry. But hapa Kenya, we already have 3 in domestic. Actually, currently we have 15 tariffs. 15 good tariffs.
In domestic?
No, in all. In domestic we have 3. In small commercial we have 3. In commercial we have 7. And then we have electric vehicles. Then we have street lighting.
Because I wonder, because we are paying taxes, we are paying all these other things. Why should you again now start punishing the user, the consumers again with the tariffs?
Engineer Chomba, me I have a question. Okay. Because I like what Engineer Isaac has said. Yes. In terms of if you consume, ukijipata uko above 100, of course they're going to charge you differently.
Yes.
Why?
The reason they are saying the people who are at the lower band, they need to be subsidized. Because they are in the remote places.
They are struggling.
But there is something else that is also about to come. They have, there is this thing they are pushing.
Okay.
That even apartments will have 1 meter.
Okay.
You know, currently, you find that an apartment
has got token meters for every,
has token meter for
every house, yes.
They now want to bring 1 meter.
Why? To do what?
And you know what happened? What will happen now is that when you look cumulatively for the apartment, it will always be above 100. So what will happen is there will be no one in those apartments who will ever enjoy anywhere
any band
lower than that one of 100.
Let me even clarify it. He has brought a very important point. You remember, let us go slowly. We have said if you consume units that are less than 30,
yes,
once you pay 1,000, you will be given like 40 tokens. Okay, 40 units. Now, when you are consuming above 100, 1,000, you will only get about
20 something.
Yes.
So you see, you've been given some leeway, because if this tenant, who is your neighbor, is consuming more, you are consuming well, you will not suffer like him, isn't it? Now, that had given us a leeway where every tenant was supposed to pay based on their usage. And they could enjoy this education that, I have learned that what I need to do to consume less, I will pay less. That was important. Now, the challenge that came in is, Kenya Power knew that these people, what is the percentage of the people who are tenants in this country? Because not very many people own their own places. And those who are also struggling.
The biggest population
is renting, isn't it?
Yes.
So now, when you come and say, we have...
Or maybe it's just me and my wife.
Yes.
We spend minimal as far as electricity is concerned.
Okay.
So how will they differentiate my usage and her usage?
Good. Thank you very much. Now they are introducing cartels. Cartels are people who will sell the landlord submeters. Submeters differentiate between this person and that person.
Okay.
But you see, the unit cost from Kenya Power will come with a high cost because already it's being charged with a bracket of 100. So even if you consume 5. With that small submeter that is assisting you to differentiate you between your neighbor and this other neighbor.